We are ready, we can just start.
Okay.
Mr. Hill, you want to lead us in prayer? You want to do a prayer for us?
Lord, we thank you for another beautiful day you've given us, and we thank you for life and all your many blessings, Lord. And we gather today, Lord, with the people of the county best interest in mind, Lord. We just pray that you would guide us in making decisions that affect these folks, Lord. And be with the sick and the aged round about us. There's so many we can't even begin to call the names, Lord, but you know each one. You know each need. We ask that you look in on them and touch them. These things I ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Administrator, what's got?
I know you are probably aware that we have an amount of money that we have agreed to allocate to the city of Heflin for their economic development each year. I know you and I talked about this one time. Last year, fiscal year 21, we were actually supposed to reimburse them up to $25,000 when we actually went over. We paid them $34,196.85. So they are starting to turn in some of their paperwork for reimbursement for this year, which is actually $50,000 for fiscal year 22 and $50,000 for fiscal year 23. I guess I just want to make sure that you guys understand that they're actually went over last year, so maybe we should just reduce their $50,000 by the $9,000 we paid over last year.
That's right.
And we're just beginning.
Do they know about it? Have you talked to them about it?
Yes, I've talked to Tina about it. So she's aware of it. She hasn't turned in, she's only turned in 1 quarter's worth of payroll because they've changed their payroll system. So she's kind of like a little bit concerned about how she's going to do her request for reimbursement for the next months. But we can go ahead and do that reimbursement form because it's about $16,000. So it's not going into this. I just know that by the end of the year, it's probably by the time she gets me all that paperwork.
So that funding is from tobacco tax funding, right?
That is, yes, I believe that's correct.
So I couldn't understand whenever Kim Brown had brought that up about that was during the COVID time too, that all our other sales taxes was up, but then she was telling us the sales tax on our tobacco tax was down for that time. What was the sales tax for the past 2 years on that? Because this is the second year of the new contract with the city of Heflin, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We paid 25 the first year, and then and I'd have to go back and look at actually with the tax.
Yeah, well, while you're working on the budget, we'll get it this year. I just want to see what was the drop-off.
Yeah.
Because she had come in and said that the drop-off on the tobacco tax, and at that point, the commission was looking at lowering it from 50 to 25.
Okay. I can look into that. I can even have that by next week, so it will be very hard to look at.
Contract we did was 25 the first year, 50 the next two.
Yeah.
The next two. So we'll go ahead and get them a reimbursement check for that first quarter, which is about $16,000. So that's not going to give over anything anyway. And then we'll look at the tobacco tax and see which thing that has been approved for the 50.
Well, I mean, we only approved 25, so that we got to get that money, but I just want to see, her logic was that, that the tobacco tax, all the other taxes was up, but the tobacco tax was down. So I just want to see just how far that really was.
Okay, I can definitely look at that. But I just wanted to run that by you, make sure you understood, so if anybody says anything about why didn't we get reimbursed our entire 50, that's why.
Okay, also, we get all our billing straight with them on the jail and all that too?
Yes.
So we got our,
everything. They have everything. They have not paid everything yet, but they have got everything.
okay, now what about Brammer? You know, we got the same program with them.
Yes.
Is there any other programs that y'all can think of, just to make sure that we're collecting any money? I talked to Emily to make sure that we were collecting money, you know, from the insurance. Now, you collect the money from the water authority as far as their insurance and stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I send them, at the end of each month, I send them a report that has a breakdown of all their salaries and benefits that they pay for.
Okay.
And they're usually the next day. I have to check from them really quick. So no problems on any of that. Okay. The next thing I did get some rates from the two banks that are here in town. I know we did by the third, but they're about to change hands, so I didn't even go there with them. Southern States is gonna be First State Bank, and that's not gonna start till October, but they're gonna be in the middle of a flux on that. I have a copy of what I found out between Metro and Noble, and the next page is gonna be your resolution, what we just talked about on that economic development and the backup for that. So I'm gonna pass you each one of those, it might be easier to look at it.
We were asked not to share that, I don't know, that's a Jason question, whether we can or not.
Well, that was the rate sheet that she gave us. This right here, this is gonna be the amounts. I just
Okay.
typed this up
So
myself.
this is ours,
This is
not
ours,
theirs.
this is not theirs.
Okay.
This is an email that they directed to us with this information directly to the commission. So as you can see, that first column is our Metro Bank, and that box at the bottom, of course, is our bank accounts that I considered for this possible change. And it's because the amounts that are in those accounts and also the amount of transactions that go through those accounts, which are less than 6 a month, which is what you want for a money market account. And that's, Metro gave us a pretty, they were already paying us 0.1% on our regular checking accounts for interest, but they've agreed to double that, and then also the money market accounts are higher, as you can see, pretty much all of them.
And both banks suggested money market accounts
Yes,
for
they did.
these 7 or 8,
Yeah, it's a
7 or 8
safe,
accounts that you don't have a whole lot of ins and outs.
and, you can put what you want, and many as you want in there, it's just about what goes out. But these hardly ever have anything, I mean, you can see, I put the numbers of transactions on there, and, the most one was going to be 3 to 4 a month. Those are all pretty safe to put in the money market account.
And explain to them that our money's not insured by the FDIC, it's insured by the bank.
Right. And these are all what they call safe accounts, or designated safe accounts. So the.
And the money market changes, if the rates go up, it goes up.
Right.
Of course, if it goes down, it goes down, I don't see it going down next year.
And the money market account, that rate is always higher than what.
Right now, we need to have it somewhere drawing money, because interest rates are gonna be going up.
Right. Now, that CD renewal, that has to be done by, the renewal date's August 1st, so we're talking about next month. So the deadline on it's August 11th, so next week at the commission meeting, they decide something about the CD renewal, if you want it to be for a year or what. But it's, what they're offering is a 1% return on that.
But what can we get to?
1% does good as
That's
I
about
found.
as good as it gets.
Matter of fact, I could, 1% is the best I found.
Yes.
Okay.
But let's just lock it in for a year, be nice
Yeah.
at this.
Yeah.
Is it making
Because it's
a
gonna go up. Also, can I say something here? This money, the CD money and the rainy day fund is both the same money.
Right.
I think we need to bump that up to $1 million in that CD. And that's gonna leave us, what, 900-something thousand in our rainy day fund?
And I agree with that. I mean, why not go ahead and make double that interest over that period of time? Because we've pretty much been leaving that reserve account alone anyway. I don't really think it's going to hurt us to
Those
take.
CDs, we ain't done anything with those CDs since I've been in office, that's been 8 years.
We'll actually still have $1 million in the reserve account. We'll still have $1 million in it
And
if we pump up to $1 million in the CD.
I want to throw something else in there for you right here too. 20% of our sales tax goes into rainy day fund. I would, what do y'all think about changing that with a resolution to, when it gets to be $2 million, to knock it down to 10%, but at any time it goes below $2 million, it goes back to 20%.
And how much is in there now?
We got, $1.94 million altogether.
All
Yeah.
good.
That's the CD and the other.
I'm good with that. You?
I agree.
So y'all want to make that a resolution next week?
Yeah.
So when the rainy day gets up to $2 million, they'll go down to.
And I think, don't, it's sort of hard for somebody to scam the money if something were to happen if it's in a CD anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I went with Lisa and we talked to them, I asked them those questions, but we got a contract with them that bank guarantees that money. So I don't think it's an issue. And the money market account is just like a checking account, you just can't make but 6 transactions a month,
Right.
you know. But if
And
they
we're not gonna be making it.
no, not in these accounts.
Not in those accounts, and you know, say some really crazy scenario where we really needed that rainy day money for some reason, we wouldn't transfer it out 6 or 8 different transactions, we would do it as a lump sum and then take care of whatever we need to take care of, something,
You know,
something.
All the money market accounts, secure accounts,
Yes, they're all in that safe account, which we're required
they're
all
all
to
just
be part of it.
they
It's not federal insurance, bank insurance. Anytime it's over, what is it, 100,000 is the cap on FDIC? No, we'll do it all.
It's 200,000. See, any kind of government money, the bank guarantees the money, the federal government doesn't guarantee it. It don't matter if we didn't have $10 in there, FDIC is not gonna cover.
but the bank only guarantees to a certain amount.
No,
They're
they'll guarantee whatever we got in
guaranteed the
there.
full amount.
Yeah. I mean, it's as safe as we can get, because,
But they are guaranteed the full amount.
yes. Which, I don't know, you might can dig that contract up for next week, and we all review that contract. I don't, it's probably August or September, time to review it anyway. All right, what else you got? Bring me that 205, and I got everything.
Okay. I want to update you on the sheriff's vehicle maintenance bid. I'm happy working with John David on that. We're basically updating what has been put out there before. A lot of the work is still the same. We're just kind of wheeling out just the sheriff's vehicles, being included in that, updating the dates and that kind of thing on it. So we are working on that work close. He gave me some in the last week. They had parts that he thought needed to be changed, or that they felt like needed to be changed. So, as soon as I have that, we'll be ready to get that out.
So is it just an oil change or is it everything?
I think it's everything, and then, and to bring back here, I haven't read all back through what he's changed on it, but I think it's everything, and then basically what they would do is, if, like, say, if it was a transmission problem, and they weren't equipped to do that, they would actually send it out.
But going forward today, where does all the vehicles go?
Right now, they
what
go
I'm-
wherever, that's what they've been doing.
Oh,
Okay.
they're all supposed to go to
They're supposed to go to leave,
Except
I
for
was
the
supposed to
sheriff.
go to leave, yeah, they will all go to leave, except for the sheriff's department.
When? And it's just like if it's a transmission, Lee will send it to a transmission shop.
Yes.
Lee will send it to a motor shop. Lee will send it. What Lee's gonna do is what he can do, that's what we're gonna do.
Yes.
So what we want is have a form in all the new vehicles. Whoever you're gonna have doing this sign off, they check all the water reservoirs, and then they say if they add water to the radiator, and they come back in there 6 weeks later, or whenever they come back in there, it's dry again. That's something it's like those generators out there, I would have never noticed it, because they kept saying, when I filled it up, I said, why should I have to fill this reservoir up? And then I filled it up, all it was just a little small pinhole in the bottom of that little line. But what happens is when that thing drains and drains and drains, there's no water in the radiator, and then it's running hot. So, I'd like to see some kind of form that and it's really even with the guys, I don't even think the guys even pull the oil stick themselves. But I'd like to have it where when your guy grabs that car, he raises the hood on it, he checks the car. Where you say, okay, I'm gonna charge.
The way I've got it set up is, and this is what I sent John, so it's probably what she's seeing too, minus some change stuff. None of the mechanic shops around there had a problem with the way the thing was set up. They had a way I was letting them charge for it. Because I was basically capping how they could charge me for it. So it's set up by PM, so like PMA is just your standard oil change. So it's every 5,000 miles, and then there's a list of stuff that you check off on that. when you get to 50,000 miles and you got a transmission thrown in there, when you get to so many miles, it's all lined up by miles on that vehicle as far as to what PM you're gonna do at that point.
I know, like, when I get my vehicle serviced, I get,
A
they
sheet.
give me my phone, and it shows where they check the rate, my water fluid, they check my, oil, they, everything's checked off on that sheet. Because if something goes wrong, if I get down the road and there's no oil in my vehicle, then
And that's
my
essentially
form
what-
shows that, you checked it off.
Does David have a checklist go up?
That's what, David's got that checklist, now, that's what, there's not one sitting in every vehicle, which is what Emmett's want. Emmett's want a service log in every vehicle, which that I don't have, but there is, here's what you're gonna do at 5,000 miles checklist that he's got.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just saying this. If they bring the vehicle in there and he throws a hood up on that county car, he knows it's not coming back until the next oil change, or unless something's wrong with it. All I'm saying is if he's got a sheet, and they should be somewhere in these vehicles to fold it up and put it in the owner's name. That it was done, and this was all that was checked. So then he's got it logged in at his place where he's got a copy of it. When he comes back up, oh, that reservoir is empty again. Or, the brakes, the brake fluid has been checked. We took a look at the rotors and stuff like that.
What I'll do is take his checklist that he's got, and we may just go get some binders and just put one in each vehicle. That way when the vehicle comes in, he can open the binder and see what he
And then if they hear something knocking or something, they can write it down. Now, you're driving that car home on Wednesdays, right?
Right,
Okay.
yes.
What-
But this guy right here, he wants to turn in a bid on the sheriff's vehicles.
What would be wrong with a filing cabinet with a file in each vehicle?
That's fine. That's the same thing, but he wants to have one.
Lost if you stick it in the vehicle.
Well, they'd be one at both places is what I'm saying. Give them one in there so they can, because the only thing I did is when I went out there and checked, now I'm just gonna say, when I went out here and checked I was checking the black vehicle.
Yeah.
And I started looking at the gray vehicle, there's something going on with it. There wasn't a drop of water in the reservoir. And I said, well, I asked Crystal, so where'd you take it? And she said, well, I took it to the Ford place. To the Ford place. To me, that there, it should be the highest tech one in there. And so all those things should have been checked at the Ford place. Well, we paid $400 and something, all she had done to it, and we got a car sitting out there. The water for the bug spray was, for the windshield washers was empty. Everything on the car was empty. And it could have used a little bit of brake fluid, to be honest, but I didn't have it.
What, if we're gonna use the same contract as we used last time, is it gonna have the same payment methods and all that bunch of stuff, or is he gonna take all that out?
I haven't really had time to review it. Like I said, he brought it in Thursday, Friday last week
Yeah.
and left it for me and had on there highlighted and marked what needed to be changed on it from the last one.
I think,
And I haven't updated it
I
yet.
think he's basically taking the payment stuff out, that's what it boils down to, from my conversation. I ain't seen,
And
I ain't
I'm just
seen
being
nothing.
honest, I haven't had time to
But if
review
we're
it.
gonna do a contract, we're not gonna say we'll pay whatever you send us an invoice for.
So see, I had it set up as, I was letting them charge for labor. Parts that cost, charge them for your labor.
Yeah.
The parts that cost is what they didn't like, they just want to put their 10, 15, 20% on parts too.
Oh, it's more than that.
Right. And, but that's what, it was parts that cost and you charge them for the labor. And it'll probably be it'll be a labor number, if I'm betting, then it'll be a labor number and then a percentage for parts.
So, other than him getting somebody else to do it, we're not cutting no costs, costs gonna go up,
Oh, yeah, it's gonna go up.
you know? Okay.
I mean, they're gonna make sure they've got their shelves covered, even
Oh.
if we tell them that they have to do the parts that cost, your labor's going up right then.
I was in the park business for 20 years, so I
Twice a
know,
week.
I know.
Well, I mean, you gotta order the part, get the part there, you can't just say, I would, if you told me, put my windshield wipers on at cost, I'd tell you, go get your windshield wiper blades, bring them to me. Because, I mean,
But,
You
It
know.
costs you something to get them.
but I can tell you that a lot of them are doubling the cost. A lot of them, because I sold the parts and I saw the invoices, so I know what they're doing. But anyway,
Well, I had new windshield wiper blades down there at the Napa store put on just not long ago, but there's a little crack at the top of the windshield. So I said, okay, we're gonna go get a new windshield, it's not gonna fall out between here and the house. So the following week, this here was the big thing. So the guy wanted $60 to put new windshield, $29 a piece to put new windshield wiper blades, because he said, oh, then windshield. I said, sir, there's a little crack at the top of the windshield. This windshield is probably going, I wouldn't say it's probably, other than a crack, it ain't gonna be no difference. And, so anyway, go down there, they put the new windshield wipers on, the new windshield in, and me just got through leaving to get new windshield wipers, not even 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I go up the road, and it finally come a little rain, I turned them on, I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I go over there, and about this far at the top, from about 2 inches from the end, you can see where he just took a razor and cut them brand new windshield wiper blades just about that much. Because the guy says, because they must have asked us 10 times. I said, did they say something else to you about them windshield wiper blades? I said, they're brand new windshield wiper blades. Then I had to go down and have another set put on. I was in North Carolina before I had to turn them on. And, but they cut them windshield wiper blades, but
can you sort of work up something pretty close to bring it next week and let's all look at it?
Oh, well, I just,
Before you
honestly,
figure it out.
it was the end of last week before I got anything from John on it, so I really have not had time to review back over to see.
how's the audit going on?
Audit's going fine so far. They really haven't asked for a whole lot of financial information up to this point. They've just been working it, getting, approval from the bank that our money's in the safe account and that kind of thing. A lot of just the paperwork part of it's been going on so far. They were here 2 days last week, and they will be here either tomorrow or Thursday. She wasn't sure which day she was gonna be in, but they've been easy to deal with, and I've not had any trouble out of it so far at all.
That's good.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I have not met one of those people that come in and done any of these audits that's not just nice and willing to work, because they don't want you to do wrong.
No, they don't.
So they wanna make sure any kind of answers they can answer, they will answer the questions or whatever. So this is good that you're getting this ahead of the other one.
Right, it's been good, and really I think this is a good way to start going into the big audit process, which we're getting there on that too, but it's gonna be a good contact with these folks to get this going. So far so good on that. That was one thing I had on my list, so thank you, Emmett. Okay, I have contacted Alabama Department of Revenue about finding if they will match the rates that Avenue does. I have not heard a response back from them on that yet, but I expect we will. We just have not heard anything from them yet on that. So I've reached back out to them again today. I had actually emailed them before, and I actually called them with a message today asking for a response on that, so maybe I'll hear something now that I've called too.
When do we have to review that?
Our fireworks and lodging are actually expired. They won't quit collecting for us because they still want the contract, but they're both expired at this point with Avenue.
So if you can get us something, we probably need to do something next week. If we can.
We really do need to get something going with it. I don't like the fact that we're just sitting there, not out of contract with them. Okay, let's see. We have another ABC license for next week. It's for Lost Creek Mercantile and Provisions. Okay, so that will be just something that I'll add to the list. I also came across a letter from the county health department asking for us to put $5,000 in our budget for this upcoming budget year. Just asking for some help with funding. So.
Who's that now?
The Cleburne County Health Department.
The health department or the health board?
The health department is actually asking for it.
So their money, federal or state, they're funding both. And all the COVID money that's out there?
And they're also funding through the hospital board.
Yeah.
And plus the building out there, rent free, they're in now.
But we gave the building to the hospital board, right?
And all they say is they just basically give a description of the services they provide. They are not saying it's gonna be earmarked for anything specific, or they've got a shortage in something, they're just saying that that's what they provide. So, I just thought I'd throw that out there for you.
Do y'all want a resolution on it for that, or y'all?
Did they say they were coming?
I found this letter in my tray, and it was dated in May, it's actually,
It was addressed to Ryan.
it was addressed to Ryan.
He found it on Dash's
They
truck.
really need to come and talk
Well,
to us and let
I
us know
don't,
what it's.
I don't know, I just, if they don't, it ain't our job to tell them what pop up with them.
We can't fund everybody, you know.
When you open that box, everything jumps out. And it's not, I'm afraid it's
If we
gonna be a year
receive
for
the
that.
money from the drug, the opiate, that, we could put that money towards it without a question asked, but we haven't received it.
What else?
So, yes or no on the agenda,
Did y'all want a resolution on
the
it?
resolution?
Well, if we just go ahead and vote it down, we'll get it out of our way. But if we wanna start calling and getting people to come and talk to us, and it's up to y'all. That's fine with
They
me.
just need to explain why they were asking for it.
My question is, with all the COVID money out there,
Did they apply for any of it?
if they didn't apply, that's their problem. I mean,
It
that's
was
what I look at
available.
it.
Especially at the health department.
Right.
Yeah, because there's tons of Washington, money still in Washington that is spent for COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
It don't matter, I mean, I just figured it's either shoot it down or whatever.
Okay, there's also, well, back to the ABC thing, there's also there are two new license types that have been created. One is called a hospitality management program license, and one is a food or beverage truck license for alcohol. The state has filing fees and state license fees, and they're asking if we would like to add a county license fee for these types of alcohol licenses, which, you know, we charge for all of our other licenses, so I would say,
charge for them,
I
because
would say
that's
so.
on those trucks.
and they're saying if we do not do this by pretty darn soon.
June 1st, 2023.
July, yes, it says if you do not provide the information for the license types above by July 22nd, you will not be eligible until 2023,
Maybe
24.
we'll apply for the same as we do on our others.
Okay. If that's what you want, we'll.
See what we charge on the other ones, I mean, we might need to do a 10-15% increase, because everything else is going up.
Yeah.
Well, I would just say this, that
Can
these
we go
state
with one?
license fees, the hospitality management one they have on there is
We
$1,000
can do
for the
whatever we
state,
want on there if we start
You
needing.
know, it's just a
and $300 for the truck license, food beverage truck license.
restricted on how you can serve it.
Right. So,
Because I think there's a lot of this stuff, these license fees and stuff like that, Cabinet County is charging a lot more than we charge them. So I don't know why we can't charge.
Yeah, we can, not for it.
so you wanna change these county, our county, set our county
Well, I'm
license
good
fee?
with alcohol.
Yeah, I like that.
So can you reach out and
Need
see
to
what?
add fees to
Yeah, there's no
it.
wine from Greece.
And you need to ask them
We had
when
like 4 or
we're
5
able
cases
to
of wine, so.
increase the
Put it in
county
there.
fee.
Put it
As
in.
far as your,
You cannot
just
make
your
a wine
ABC.
from Greece.
Okay.
You-
Because
Yeah,
they may not
others.
allow us to do that, but
Well,
sometime.
on this
They don't
one,
work
we
it
can
like
set
that
our
wine
fee.
business.
The way that reads it.
It's
They
open.
want that more
It's
than
just
that,
open.
for people coming across the
As
board.
long as we did it for that date, we can do
Yes.
what we want. The way I read it.
What is the fee now, I forgot that we pay $250?
I
Four
don't
to-
know,
four to-
I don't remember off the top of my head, because I
Less.
never.
I know I just
Almost
renewed my
50.
license and it
We'll
was
be right across the
400.
countryside, just call.
It was almost $500.
You got alcohol. It's that much every year.
Or we got one with tiny problem.
Check into it and see
I'll
what we
check
get
and see what
now.
that
Yeah.
is, and I'll bring that, and I'll have just.
Sort of check it, see what Calvin County gets.
See that all with the
Because
rent.
it's, you know, on small businesses,
You know,
it's
you
hard
don't realize, if you just, every place you go,
when you're paying that.
you turn this curve and
Money
there's a
now,
wine.
aren't
You go in, you say, I have a couple of
No,
wine,
you're not
this
serving,
thing,
I mean,
you
you know,
know,
I
two
can
services.
sell
you?
it.
Yeah, you're not selling.
That's what I'm saying, for
It
small
was over
businesses.
20 days.
What else, Calvin?
Okay,
Just do us a resolution on that, and just put the figures you think in there, and then we can discuss it again next week. We're gonna need business.
All right, and hopefully by next week, I will have a good report for you on the Avenue report with the delinquent codes. I actually got on there, and I've definitely run them before on the delinquent accounts. And I went on there to do that, and it was not available to me, so I had to actually contact Avenue, and they said, oh, well, we can change your usage, we gotta change how you get those reports. They can email them to me, but actually I can't pull them right now.
That lady came the other night, did she tell us that you
Yeah.
go on there anytime?
She said I could, she said I could.
Oh, she said, you got her number, didn't you?
Incorrect. And I do have
Did
her
you
number.
call her, right?
Yeah, I've called, I actually didn't catch her when I called, but I've talked to someone else about it since then, and they were like, yeah, we'll set you up there, they're supposed to have it set up today, so. It's not a problem, they will email them to me, and they can do that, so, next week, one way or another, I'll have a report for you on your sales tax clients that are delinquent. And I will say this, just from what I've seen of the ones I've received before, it's not really a whole lot. It's maybe 15 accounts. It's not crazy amounts of businesses, so I don't think it's gonna be too hard for us to kind of go over it.
Why don't you do us a resolution with a fill in the blank and put it on new business, and let's get that out of the way next week.
Did I do anything?
Put a blank there for either Avenue or Department of Revenue. Me personally, I think we need to scare this bunch, even if it costs us $20,000, and go with the Department of Revenue for a year, and then see if that bunch is willing to come back and do their job. I mean, that's my opinion.
But right now, we're only, how many, 15 people in the whole county? It's not this.
There's not a whole lot that's showing on that list. I'm looking at the old list, but it's, there might be 20 at the most, 15 to 20. It's a page, it's not that much of a page, just a list. So,
And when they collect the past due ones, do they charge a percentage or how? She told us, I know.
they charge a fee for the audit part of it.
Well, if you're late, they also charge you another fee, don't they, Laura?
Yeah,
If you if it ain't there at midnight that night, what she explained to us, you're automatically charged another fee.
Right.
The discount, the state discount you pay.
But I mean, if we're just talking, I don't think I'm saying, I'm listening to what you're saying, but if I'm gonna spend $20,000 to prove a point, and we ain't talking $20,000 worth of losses,
Ain't worth it.
no.
Okay. What else you got?
I didn't miss anything. Emmett, did you want to talk about courthouse demolition projects? Do you want a resolution for that?
I've got, I went ahead and had the old ones, we got the dates, we got the pictures of the units we want to replace, and the one at the library.
Okay, so do we want to do a resolution to initiate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we got our drawings, so she said she wanted, but they're supposed to come in and do the scan, so.
Right, we just have to do that resolution like we did with the
No, we did
roads to get, and I can get Kelly Gilpin on that, I'm sure she'll flip around and have that for me in no time to get that started.
But I figured the oldest one we have is at the library, and then I didn't think the ones that was that old, but I tell you, most all the units at that courthouse was put in before I come in office.
What kind of money you talking about to replace them all? At the courthouse?
Well,
How many units are
I figured it's probably gonna hit right around about $12,000 each.
there?
So we got 5 or 6 at the courthouse, but if you want to get a total of replacing them all,
Hey, so you can replace all of them at the courthouse for $100,000?
let me count them all. Because like Joyce has got 2.
Let's just get the resolution to get them started and get them up here and all that stuff, and we can discuss.
Well, we did, we went through and documented how old they were, going to the new Freon.
Once we send them this resolution, they'll call you back
Well, they're supposed to come out, but they wanted me to say, these are the units we're gonna change. And if y'all say, we're gonna replace them all, say if it's from 100 to 150,000, if you're looking at the 200,000 in there, it's gonna be good money spent.
I think the big thing they look at, and I may be wrong, you know more about this than I do, they're gonna be looking at the filters
Yeah.
and stuff like that, so we might have to do the whole building.
But what they're looking at is just what, Mr. Hill was talking about, is that where the air is brought into the system and cleaned.
Okay.
What do you call it?
Nice.
That's what we're gonna have to be putting in. So-
That's a recircle, recircle. It's regulate that
Well,
air.
let me say something else to you that I don't know if you did at y'all's church, but I couldn't figure this out with the one that we put in Atlanta. And I'm like, we were sitting in there and it was the same unit, all we did was replace the unit. I'm like, oh my God, I mean, we're sitting in there freezing to death. Well, you got with, a lot of these places, and this is where it's gonna get into a problem at the courthouse, you gotta bring in so much fresh air. What happened was they run an 8-inch fresh air line plumb out to the street, and it was coming into the side of that heat pump, and we went back and go from a 5-ton to a 10-ton trying to condition that air, it wouldn't be. And so finally, it was just an office building, I just went out there and told them out, facing cardboard over that vent, because I mean, we couldn't, it wouldn't, and then once I did that, it just started heating just like it always did. But that's just something to think about, if we want to bring in fresh air, I'm gonna have to figure that one out, because that's 24 inches thick.
But once we do this resolution, they'll get the ball rolling, and then
Okay.
you can talk to them and.
Well, we put all of our stuff, I mean, you know, I was thinking y'all probably wanted to do 10 units, and that's what we were doing. Picking out the worst 10 units that,
Yeah.
the one that's rotted out that we know that's going to be replaced.
I just don't know if you gotta do them all, or you get pick and choose, I don't know, but.
That's what she said. The good thing about it is, it's like Ryan's office. That's an office.
Okay.
And then Joyce's office.
That's one unit.
That's the way I'm figuring it.
Okay.
And if she said, if they said do the whole courthouse, then it wouldn't be that big a deal to do the library, because there's just one unit in there,
Yeah. Okay.
so.
What you got?
I sent her after Marty's budget.
They can't,
Okay. Is that next on the list?
If she was done, that was gonna be next on the list.
Okay.
They can't.
on that unit, so, could they not do one big unit and it be through all of them?
Let me tell you, in Ryan's office, I got up there and I looked like death. But I got up there because what happened was, is when you shut the door, going to Ryan's office, there's no return. The return's in Ryan's office, it's at the bottom of the unit. So when you shut the front door, they're wondering why they're burning up or freezing to death or whatever in the front. It's because it's not pulling no air back. So I had to get up in the seat, and I got up there with a little jackhammer and jackhammer me a 12 by 12 hole, and I run a pipe through it and then put me a crossover return. So you can shut the, and that's the same way it is in Joyce's office. When you go through Joyce's office, those are 16-inch walls. Concrete walls that goes all the way up. So, you know, and the good thing in Joyce's office, they run a duct through hers, you know, out to the front. In the same way they did Brian. But they didn't think about no return. They just saying, oh, we'll just let the air, just leave the doors open. That don't happen. I mean,
What else you got?
Transportation, issue, Marty has brought a resolution to us about the amount that we contribute to the transportation cost.
Is it a contract, or is it they just trying to help the?
It's a resolution is what it is, to pass about the cost of that, if you want to look at that. And I actually was supposed to get those transportation numbers ready for this meeting, and
It's the actual
one thing or
budget.
another, if we don't have that.
It's the budget, they have to do theirs in June.
So this is the contract,
There's a
this one to us,
resolution.
that's what we normally,
Right.
what we normally pay.
And for the last 2 years, the COVID money's covered it,
Mm-hmm.
but we ain't gonna have that, or right now, we don't have that going forward, so.
How many folks do you own?
Well, I was trying to get a little clarification, but he calls that riders, but that's actually trips.
in other words, that's how many trips he makes a month.
So 70% is 50% for operating expense and 20% for administration.
What is all that average? I mean, just off the top of my head, looks like it averages about 40 trips.
It's about 40 trips, and that probably represents 15 riders.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get him to nail down, actually how many riders does he have?
Yeah,
But I haven't heard back from him. So
most of those trips are one person, huh?
they're nearly all one person. And we are just strictly using the van too, the bus.
I've got it.
The bus has been cranked, but it ain't moved in over a year.
It will crank.
Like, the battery's probably dead on it at the moment, but.
Well, that's sort of what bugs me about people, you know, we've got equipment and they don't take into consideration to maybe drive it that one time a week to, you know, I mean, now it's probably gonna cost, what, $900 for batteries or $1,000?
The battery's been dead on it for over a year, that's why we ain't replacing it, because we ain't using it.
Battery's probably $160,
$170.
$170.
$350 for the ones. But no, we're strictly using the van, because it is a single rider.
Yeah.
And we can't use that van for anything else. We don't do none of that road. If we don't want it, they'll come get it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Let me ask you this, because we have to match so much money on that van. What about our money that we put in on it? They're gonna,
That's what, it's kind of like any matching funds. The federal still controls it.
They go by mileage, and see, what we were trying to do, or what I was trying to do, and I got Lee involved in it, was to get them to give the bus to Randall. And they won't do it. It's either you give it back to them, or you use it. That's the only two options. They'll take it back, and then they'll put it wherever they want to in the state, right? That's the way I understood it.
well, let me ask you this, since we've paid into it, you was gonna do that for Ramburn, why can't we give it to the city of Heflin?
You
You
can't,
can't give
you
it
can't
nowhere.
give it.
I mean, not give it to them, but let them use it. Let them put a driver in it.
Liability,
You can.
you can, you just have to reserve the liability.
They'll have to-
You still have a liability, the county still have a liability.
Not if they're using our driver. We would have to come up with a part-time driver.
That's
So
what
the
I'm
city's got a driver, just let them,
But he can't just get in, it'd have to be a county.
but that's what I'm saying, they can just reimburse, you know, this is their driver. So what I'm saying is he could, like the part-time driver you're saying, if he's driving that bus in the city of Heflin would reimburse the county for him driving that bus.
Now, that you can do, but
That's
it'd
what
have
I'm
to be a
saying.
county employee.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You just have to ask Jason if legally they can reimburse us.
And it's so much a mile. If I remember right, it's like $7 to go to Oxford and back, something like that.
Well, I can't see, it's no different than like this other equipment we just got sitting in the parking lot riding. We're gonna let it settle there and ride.
But why does those, like I said, why does he not pick up all of those people anyway? Where the
Because they
city
don't-
wouldn't have to.
They don't all go, I mean, it's just one call a day, or gonna take this near, it ain't a trip, it ain't like there's 4 or 5 wanting to go at the same time.
See, we just
But I'm
get
saying these people that are riding the city bus,
through that.
why
Yeah.
can they not, the city just let us handle them?
Well, I didn't say that.
To boost our numbers up, the city just not,
I got mine.
just allow us to do it.
She's got one.
Oh, I can get one. Have you heard that one?
You had one sitting on your spot down there, you did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got it.
You can make me mad.
Why the city just doesn't just let us pick up those?
Well, this is,
Right.
let me get it straight for you. What happens is when the city picks up some, they have a senior citizen, they pick them up, take them to the senior citizen. I mean, they go pick up
That's the
people.
senior citizen bus.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're talking
yeah, but they'll pick them up, take them there, they take them to the grocery store. I mean, when the city's bus, the only thing I'm thinking is, if the city will pay for the driver, when they shuts down, they probably gonna, maybe they'll start calling Marty. But I've asked Marty to go down and talk with the people at the, you know, at the senior citizen or there in Heflin, to put his name up, you know, to come by and pick up stuff, because there's all these apartments and stuff that the city of Heflin goes and picks them up
See,
now.
ours, at Fruiters, doesn't take them. All they do is take the lunches out there and transport them from their home to the senior citizen. They don't transport them to buy groceries or any of that other.
And
But I didn't think they could.
I'll just tell you.
They're just doing it because it's within the city. But I don't think you can use the senior citizen bus to take them to doctors and all of that.
But that's what I'm saying, though,
Yeah,
If the city of Heflin's willing to pay and we get use out of the bus, or we can give it to somebody else in the state, then if we can make that happen, then they can come pick that up. Let's just say that Marty's out. Well, heck, if the city bus can go pick him up at Hollis Crossroads and take him to the doctor.
or they could,
We had this discussion several years ago about, we're running a taxi service. I
Three or
know,
four people.
I know, because I brought it up, we talked about, okay, Tuesday, if you got anything to do in Oxford, we'll come get you. Wednesday, if you got something to do in Bowden, we'll come get you.
Now, Terry,
But we never did pass nothing like that.
Terry, how many times, every time when it comes time for us to vote, all of a sudden we get all kind of printouts and everybody's rushing and running, trying to figure out how important it is.
well, the
And then
last
as soon as we
time,
pass it,
the last time what got.
Am I right?
to us
I mean, I've seen it.
What got to us was that we were getting reimbursed a large amount from the COVID. That's the reason we passed it the last
Yeah,
time,
but you ain't getting
because
nothing
it
more than
wasn't
that.
costing us.
But we're looking at $34,000 now,
And then,
which,
yeah. now
what
that's
was it before? I was
different.
thinking it's like 15 or 16 or 17,000 before
It's
COVID.
always been in
It's
the
always been that.
upper twenties, it was 20.
Unless we have to buy the bus.
Unless we was buying the bus.
Mhm.
This is not, this don't have anything with you, do with new bus, this is just.
So for the
annual fee.
$34,000 we pay, that pays Marty's salary, and it pays for the gas and everything the bus needs.
Where's that resolution at?
But I'll tell you, talking about importance, so we want to do importance. Yeah, if you're talking 15 riders,
That's the salary.
in 15 riders, they're on the way of going anywhere. And a lot of them are, I mean, he keeps it scheduled out several weeks in advance, but it's because they're dialysis patients and doctor appointments.
What's that one?
Very few of them just call up and say, hey, I need to know a doctor.
That's his-
That's the biggest one,
Most of them, it's, I gotta get to the doctor.
radio communication.
I'm not giving an opinion one way or the other, but EMS will take them for the dialysis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
they're
get paid,
offering.
they get paid big
But
now.
what I'm thinking is that really, he should be picking up those from Heflin and taking them like to the grocery store and all that, because their senior citizen bus is not
He
supposed to
does.
be taking them.
He does pick up, yeah. But there's just not that many of them.
Yeah, they used to, but he had a lot in Heflin, but then some reason he lost those.
A lot of,
But then he lost two of the dialysis patients that passed away.
If you,
I don't
we're
know.
gonna give something to the hospital board, and that dialysis patients will pay more than anything we're gonna give them. What does these average out to? Did you average it out between the money?
no, I haven't actually
Did you break
Okay.
it?
know the answer.
So we're at $70,435. $81,430 a year for that service. I'm just telling you. If you add those two numbers together,
That's it.
Is that counting his salary?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
If
gotta be.
you take the salary out though, that'll tell you how much trip, I mean, how many we got, how many people we're helping. I guess it's not, or,
But you can't go by how many people you're helping, because all that gives you your trips, it don't give you how many people you're helping.
no, that's per person, man.
No,
Just,
True.
that's per trip.
but 99% of the trips is one person.
Yeah, all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, same thing.
You know, he's not talking individual, Pete, he's talking one person on one bus.
Oh, what's that?
I know in the past, I've seen where the new, like, the senior centers have a bus sometimes, and if it's funded, you have to report your trip sheet and count the driver. The driver is one of those trips. This is technically transport too.
Why don't you figure out what else you got?
That's it, that's pretty much all I had. That's it.
What do you got?
One thing I got is, Miss Laura's got a little dirt road that look at vacating, it's, for,
Oh, we keep on, we don't have permanent on the road.
it's.
We're not vacating one every month.
All these things with 10 miles long, we'll be doing good,
Yeah.
if y'all 8 mile long.
This is 475 feet.
Oh, my goodness.
Ooh.
What has happened
That's a
is,
tenth of a mile.
in Lee, what has happened is, that's privately owned.
It's Drine's Mill.
And
Yes.
it has got so bad down there. We went and cleaned it up twice, gotta go back down there and clean it up again.
I don't know.
Now,
I'm closing.
This is,
You gotta be able to keep them out. Why are we cleaning it up if it's?
well,
properly
we're
owned?
not, it's personal people cleaning it up, is what I'm saying. But
So
the
every-
problem is you've got people, I mean, you see, this was like 2 days after we cleaned up. And
Is there-
you've
is
got
there a
people
gate
down
up
there
Just a pipe.
living
If
in,
there's signs that says private property,
so,
so anybody's doing
They're
that
living
trespassing, that's
there?
theirs.
yeah, they're living down there. Look, at this bus,
Let's close
two
it.
little small children in
And so if
it.
we close
Look at
it,
that pile of garbage there.
What?
What county road is it?
448.
But that's just me and the blacktop down through
That's
there,
into the blacktop.
because there is houses on that road.
But what has happened is the law, it's becoming such a nuisance for the law, having to go down there so much.
Well, when we close the road, what's gonna keep them having down there then?
The owner will put a fence up.
You got an owner either side of the road that, and we basically move the fence 500 foot up from the, instead of where it's.
They
at now,
still
just
want to be
pull it
able
through
to
the
get
pipe.
the traffic coming off of the river,
You
just
dig the
like
pipe
the
out, you
other
don't put a
private
gate.
property. Where if you're canoeing down the river, you can come
You don't
onto
know.
the property. You just can't get it to it
What's
with a
the-
vehicle.
I just closed it all together from the river or the roads, but we can't do the river, we can't do the roads, okay?
So that being said, that would be scheduling a public hearing for the 30 days, which would be next commission meeting, is what we have to do with that. And once we have the public hearing, then we can have the,
They have a bathroom down there that has, it's basically, it's a, what is it, like a concrete, and it's the two bathrooms.
just a cinder block building.
RC&D has put 3 commodes in there. They literally steal the commodes. We're talking about portable potties.
On private property?
Well, it used to belong to RC&D,
Oh.
and they steal the commodes. What is anybody gonna do with a commode like that? It blows my mind.
That's all I have on my list.
I don't have a problem with it, because my daughter's gonna buy a house on that road, and I'm raised hell. No, you're not gonna buy a house on that road.
Yeah,
God, that would be rough, wouldn't it?
You got that right.
but now if the traffic, there's people that lives all down through there, and they're having, and these tags are not our local people. It's coming in there.
Let's get it started. All right, what you got?
That's the only thing to say.
I was wanting to, see Lee about getting that crusher rock I want over to, middle school and the elementary school. We're gonna go in there and reline that around where the playground is. So what do you, I was gonna put about 10 yard at one place and about 10 yard where the band practices at, right there under those trees. If you just dump it in the yard, I was just gonna take a small truck and take it over and just dump what I'll need. I don't think I'll need a whole load, but probably, I think it was about 5 or 6 tons we put there the last time.
So if it's, we'll know, we'll figure out how much you use on it, just.
Okay,
whatever.
and then I need enough to, patch a hole, 2 holes in the pavement about a little bit bigger than this. So what are you saying, $500-600 for material? Or how much?
750.
Okay, the
That's
1,000.
all, that's all one of
Let's
it.
just make it 1,000, because I might need a couple of scoops of big rock like that where the pipe's washing out.
Okay.
So we need a resolution,
$1,000.
come out of your discretionary funds.
Now, did you take care of that, sending that out on the last one? Okay.
What else? You got anything else here?
We're working on the budget, so I'm working in, and he's supposed to, now, Fred told me this.
What's that?
He said, you ever seen the zero more I got, the Kubota diesel, that you can get them off the state bid list with hard tires on? Is it that much, really?
The one I seen there was about 17,000.
That's what I told him. I said, you might get that $1,000. I gave him nearly 19,000 for mine.
He called me this morning, I went to look, I have not talked back to Fred, I was actually just gonna hand that to you, but since you mentioned it, I'll hand it to you.
But anyway, we can get a gas run. Mine, I've had it for a long time, and they're good mowers, but we probably are gonna have to. The only thing about this mower now, what they told me, cause mine messed up, and I got aggravated, I was just gonna buy me another new mower. And, because they said it's gonna be 4 months before I get mine out of the shop, they said, well, now we're back 4 months at the Kubota place. I said, well, I'll just take a new mower. He said, well, I will too. And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, they don't have them.
Can't get them either.
So all I'm saying is it might be, we might need to start looking at getting some type of mower. This would be a good mower, it's a lot better heavy duty mower. Does anybody have any suggestions on that?
Yeah, what does it cost? What we pay in labor and gas and all that stuff, would it be cheaper just to hire somebody to cut the grass? A contract?
Lord, I don't think you get that grass cut that cheap.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Just let's look at the figures. Can you get us the figures?
To cut all the grass that he cuts.
Whatever, I mean, I don't know what it is, I'm just throwing something out there.
You know, the guy that does, I think that was mine, that does the one down the he's going off, so he just has a contract that he goes and he did the city improvement.
Well, let me get a list of all that's gotta be cut and we'll look at prices. We
We
didn't
can
cut.
look, I mean, it'll cost me a deep price.
So it takes time to meet all them people and do all that.
Well, if we can just get, if you can meet with somebody, anybody, at least you get an idea, you know.
Well, you figure that more we've got now has been here longer than I have. The more they have now, and they bought it up at Shirley and Son, and I think they give about $8,000 for it. So he cuts, now we're cutting the grass over at your place, we cut the courthouse, we cut here, we cut all the voting booths, and now we're cutting the grass at, around those little centers. And then we cut the grass at the extension off, cut the grass.
Is that the only mowers they got on the bid list?
No, that's just the Kubota
I mean-
ones, because that's what he was asking for.
I mean, I didn't buy a Kubota, but I bought a commercial, way cheaper now.
Oh, yes, that's what I'm saying, I'm telling you what I bought, and what, I'm just gonna tell you.
I can't forward you a forward those.
Well, if for $10,000, if he can get the more I got for 10,000, I'll take, I said, well, that's what we'll get. But yeah, we can get a good mower for about $8,000.
It was, just off the top of my head, there was Walker
Yeah,
mowers,
that's a good one.
Bad Boy mowers.
Bad mower's great. I mean, they're all great, but they just that word
Spartan
Kubota.
is a spin-off of the Bad Boys, because the two guys split and they started on, that's what I got.
Which
That
one?
thing's a tank of Spartans.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like
my wife can't tear it, we've been running it 3 years, so it must be a good one, so.
Well, the one we got now, the Bobcat, it's been a good mower, I'm telling you, keeping oil changed in it, but
The main thing on those zero turns is the hydraulic motors,
Yeah.
and those things, you got Parkers on them, Parkers are supposed to be the best, but anyway. Let's see what it's gonna cost us, and then we'll look at it.
This
Well, if we gotta
this
do it,
previous
do it in the
experience,
budget.
I know the town that I worked for, they found out that it was cheaper for them to buy the mower and cut the grass, but now we're on a whole different scale. here.
well, the thing of it is, I guess what you gotta say is just go run through this, because, when the COVID, we hired another guy to clean the offices, because of all the codes cleaning and stuff, so I mean, we need to look at my budget this year, I agree with that. But with all the maintenance and everything, like building the centers, I think we got one more center to do, and Fred helps out with that, and he does electrical and plumbing and all the stuff that we do, plus cut off the grass. And in the wintertime, it ain't like you still gotta clean the yards and blow the leaves, and so it ain't just about cutting the grass, it was just all we was paying that guy to do was to cut the grass. I would say yes, because you ain't gonna be able to get it done. I mean, you can get the grass cut for about that, for probably what you pay in Fred's salary, but all the other things that you get is a little icing on the cake.
These centers all been fenced in, I was gonna put a herd of goats in each one of them to keep them weed down. So
They don't need grass, so it's weeds out there though.
What's going on with the deck out here? Why is it closed?
Well, I don't know why they still got the tape up, because we just got through rebuilding this deck and staining it, and then we had the handrails, and they went out there and pressure washed it, And I guess they didn't take the tape down. I'll ask them.
I have one more maintenance question, if you don't mind. since
Me
you're
too.
on
That's
subject.
all right.
Go ahead.
Do we typically have the carpet cleaned in here or ever replaced because it's pretty nasty?
Probably just need shampoo.
Yeah.
Probably have somebody clean it real good.
And the good thing about it up here, that's up to Crystal, you, and,
Comes out.
I mean, it don't come out of my
Yeah,
budget, so if you wanna have it
That's what I'm
cleaned.
saying, I just feel like it, I mean.
It ain't been cleaned, but I think it's been cleaned 2 times since the building's been built. And then they resealed all this over here. You remember we did that?
I just know that when you start letting things go, then you end up having to replace it if you don't take good care of it and get it cleaned. And even, your paint and stuff that gets touched up, it keeps you from having to repaint all the time, so,
But,
little things like that.
but you know, with a lot more traffic in here that we got going on, but I think we probably need to send a letter. Now, I know the lease automatically renews for Jack State.
That
So,
was something I was gonna bring up, but
Yeah.
I guess we can do it now. I want all our department heads to start doing, what is it legally call it? Tells you what's coming up.
Setting reminders.
Yeah, on the calendar, so we don't come up and say, oh, that Jack State thing was supposed to be done 6 months ago, nobody knows nothing about it. See, well, they done renewed that. They automatically renewed if you didn't file 6 months ahead of time, which I asked Ryan for a copy of the contract 2 or 3 times, and never got it.
You want a commission calendar that will remind y'all.
When things are
when
coming up.
things are coming up.
They had a certain period of time where they had to, notify us if they were not gonna renew that.
and that goes
And
both
by the time I
ways.
figured
Yeah.
that out, that period of time was already
Yeah.
lapsed.
Just like our contracts, I mean, garbage contracts, contract with JSU, I mean, everything that's 3 years out, most of our contracts are 3 years. Which can be good to know 3 months ahead of time.
But what is gonna happen when, all these other churches come and wanna start using that over there?
That's what I said to start with, because once you do it for one, you're gonna do it for all of them.
That's the reason why we always fell out, you know, as far as trying to do something for a church, is because,
Jack State's the one that agreed to do it,
I know,
so
But-
it's not
They're
on
charging,
us, it's on
Huh?
them.
they're charging for it too.
And, we just told them, it's not us, it's
I don't think they're
Jack
charging for
State.
that, I think they're just getting to use it. They're not charging.
If they're charging, are we getting reimbursed for
They're
cleaning?
charging.
They
They are?
charge the rest of them, what, $250?
I don't remember how
It's
much
$250.
they said,
It
but I'm
was
pretty sure
$150, but I think
they
it's
said they were
$250.
charging for it.
Why don't you get us a copy of that contract? I ain't never seen it, I would like to
I've
see it.
got one at the house somewhere. We both got a copy. I know you and I got a copy of it.
But I guess what we need is, I think if we're gonna have this going on, I just think we need to know what Jack State has agreed to let them do over there.
Well,
Because,
let's look at the contract.
okay.
That way it won't be.
Well, I don't need
this or,
I knew it wasn't no $10,000.
uh, okay, so you ain't got nothing else?
No, we're good.
I got a couple of things. The employee evaluation, you know, we've been talking. We finally got a form,
Yeah.
got it in pretty good shape, and we're gonna try to start next week, if that's agreeable with you, but,
That's fine with me.
with me and, Miss Emily over here, we agree that it should be done annually and midterm. And there's various reasons for that. It don't have to be, but it should be done twice a year. And, I thought if we did it in June, I planned on doing it in June and December, but, we missed the June for several different reasons, but,
We could do one July, do one December this year, and then make it June and December on out. Do we need a resolution for that?
Yeah, that's how we do. Is this for all employees?
for all
No.
employees.
That's under the.
No, the department head does for the other employees, that's just for
Just
commission
what's under the
employees.
commission.
Okay.
Yeah, but it'll flow downhill, you know, I mean, they'll have to do their own, you know.
You already did 2 a year, aren't you?
We do 1 year.
Okay, yeah, so that's a good resolution.
Did we too?
Did there, that does too. he got a day off somewhere, he can do something.
And I was wondering about Fred, who's gonna do it?
Him has to do
And
that.
it's the department head.
Well, that lawyer lady told us him couldn't have an employee. So I'm wondering if, to keep down trouble, should Lisa not do his performance appraisal?
I don't have an issue with that.
Anyway, that's coming up next week. And we're gonna rake you two over the coals with, by the way.
Well, and that's what I was gonna throw out there. Now, like with us, there is, but like with the employees, the whole performance thing, there's nothing, there's no benefits or no, like when I do my guys, if it comes back and it's just a failure, then other than it just going in the book is you're a bad employee, there's no benefits to scoring good and there's no repercussions for scoring bad. It just, to me, the employees, the way it's set up right now is a waste of time. Because there's nothing comes of it.
Okay,
You
Let me
can
explain
use
this.
it, you can use that as a tool to get rid of an employee.
that's what I
Or
was
to,
going to
to,
But I do that.
promote.
I do that with the write-up, so, you know, if I ain't gonna wait till
6 months.
6 months, dude, if something comes up, I'm gonna write it up and get through them write-ups.
Yours is probably a little bit different than
Well, you
ours.
may have a good system going,
But that'll be added into the 6 month one too, wouldn't it? That you've got so many marks in the last 6 months, you know, how are you gonna fix this? I mean, it only covers our butts, what it does, cause like he said, if we fire you, you gonna sue us. So if we hadn't written you up over the years and said, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that, then we lose every time.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying, from y'all's standpoint, that does give y'all a chance to do a write-up for us,
Yeah.
but I guess from us down,
It ain't worth nothing.
but look at it.
Yeah.
If you got a pretty good employee, you're gonna keep him. And with us, it's just evaluation that,
We're not.
the past
Huh?
We
3 or
can't.
4 employees that we've been
The
through,
commission can't.
I don't think that we would have probably
The
but
commission
1 or 2
can't
write-ups on
evaluate
any.
an operator. We
Or
can't.
you could
He's
keep
got-
Yeah,
up
what I'm
with
saying is,
training,
I thought
self-development,
But you two were just elected
anything,
to
grievances,
oversee theirs,
any
not me.
problems. and-
No.
we did all that stuff.
He's wanting to make it countywide, not for us to evaluate them, but to make sure they evaluate.
Yeah, but I'm saying like,
Well, it's already in the handbook.
who's evaluating Lee's job with them?
Well,
We don't do.
read it in
But
the
I didn't think, I
handbook.
thought we just voted for y'all to evaluate.
Our employees.
Actually do it.
Okay.
The
There's
HR,
4.
administrator, Lee, and Crystal.
Okay.
So, what day next week?
I was told on Tuesday,
Sounds good to me, that way I can just,
whenever we set it up, it'll be fine.
Well, Tuesday will be the commission meeting, you might not want to do it that day.
Well, I don't really care what day it is.
I'm just saying, you might want a day that you ain't,
I
nah,
mean,
let's
I
do it on
have
one day.
four employees,
That
it
way I don't
shouldn't
split
take
2 days.
couple of days.
4 hours.
It ain't gonna take that long.
Just don't-
Okay, the next thing,
Monday may be off limits for me, because we may still be in Mississippi playing Little League World Series.
He
we
said-
need to
he
make
said
sure
Tuesday.
everyone's gonna be here.
Tuesday past would be fine.
If we miss you, we'll get you later.
But have you got
Yeah,
this
something
item?
Last month, you brought it up about the garbage contract, and that's gonna be a big problem. And I would like, if Lee has anything he can tell us now, what we're looking at for the next year.
For like what the contract would be.
Right.
So just to make some phone calls, so we did call, and I'll run through my list. We called Republic, we called Waste Management, we called Arrow, AMC, GFL, and the ones that we talked to, some of the numbers we was getting on some comparative bids was running $81 a quarter to about $87 a quarter was the last bids that they turned in for counties roughly our size. You start talking to them, they're facing the same issues. They don't have drivers, they can't get cans. I hear a lot of the same problems. Now, how they handle them may be different, but it's the same problems that's there. So I think when we rebid next year, unless something's really turned around, you're gonna be looking,
Probably around $100.
$14.
Close to it.
$14 a month more.
yeah.
Well, here's the thing, see, people complain now, having paid 50, you know, and what are they gonna do when you double it?
The same way as, and I think I posted a couple of articles from what other counties are dealing with. Some is not even being able to get nobody to bid on their trash.
Right.
But the thing of it is, I mean, the commission's sort of locked in on this. All we can do is put it out and what the market, it's no different when you pull up at the gas pump. People's not gonna be able to come pick up your trash and they're paying $6 a gallon for diesel fuel for a truck that's getting 3 miles to 4 miles to the gallon. I mean, it's just common sense tells you your gas is, I mean, I can't believe that they're still doing it. I can't believe they're still doing it.
Calhoun County has already done an increase.
People are gonna stop paying it, they're not, a lot of people can't afford it, you know. And the ones that can don't wanna pay it, but there's gonna be sacks of garbage up and down every road you can imagine.
You're gonna have that problem, and you're gonna have a problem with, a family's gonna have a little dumpster, and then we're gonna have to address that.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
then when you start addressing that, you're gonna send the sheriff out there to arrest them, what are you gonna do?
the delinquent report from last month, that's 60 days late, it was 120 people that had went delinquent last month.
3,200.
3,200.
Okay, so we talked options, what are our options? And I was thinking about placing the dumpsters around, you know, I hate to do that, but we may have to.
Wait, now, explain to me how you're going to get an elderly person that's at home to be able to take their garbage to, you're making it even harder on them when they can get it exempt. Now you're wanting them to haul their garbage to a center. I don't think that's gonna work. You're gonna get garbage everywhere.
But I don't think doubling the cost is gonna work either.
Well, I mean, everything, I mean, just like you said, when you pull up to the pump, you're paying. When you order something, anything you order now, you're doubling. I mean, the fact is, everything has gone up. It's nothing that we've done to the people, it's just, that's why.
The only thing is, look, I think what you're saying is a good idea, but I wouldn't just want to put one out in the county because everybody from everywhere else. But if you do it at if we do it, or at least do it at, where yours is open, your week, and you got a place down there to have that dumpster setting, you know, if you take a couple of weeks and build up or something's got to give. We got to try something, and to have that dumpster sitting there, okay, you know, you can come use this, but what are we going to charge for them to use that? I don't think just because you pay that, you're not even paying the $1 to that facility now. I think you got to come up with some kind of dollar amount that somebody's got to pay.
When you place that municipal dumpster at the convenience centers, all of a sudden you're dealing with ADAP permanent too. We'll have to go through and permit those facilities as waste facilities too.
Even though it's just a dumpster sitting there hauling trash. Would it have to be a closed dumpster?
What about if you put a compactor?
That's what I'm talking about, a closed dumpster.
That was gonna be-
That's, you it's still permitted.
And they're sealed up, you know,
So then
and
we
things
gotta have
like that.
runoff ponds and all kind of crap like that.
No, wouldn't necessarily have to have all that, but you address all that in your permit.
Now, most of them, let me say that, you gotta have, you know, a lot of times they want it where there's a pad with a drain, and where's that drain gonna go?
Well, if you look, and this is just the only reference I got, you go to Carroll County, you go to Hurd, you go to Harrison, they all have the dumpsters at the convenience centers. And when you pull up in there, they may be 20 dumpsters, 28-yard dumpsters sitting around the fence. And, you know, that's what they do is, load it up and take the trash to the convenience center.
Well, what would that cost
Still
to
gotta
empty
pay
the
somebody
thing?
to
What-
take it.
It would,
Still gotta pay somebody to take it.
Well, it's gonna cost you, right now, it's gonna cost you $10 to take one, if you take one load of trash, there's 2 gallons of gas. So it's gonna take you 2 gallons of, yeah, it's gonna cost you, so it's better to pay the $80 or $90, whatever it's gonna be, for them just to put it at the road. Now, like you said, some of these people you're talking about will be exempt. So So it don't make a difference if it's 100 or what. Maybe we might look at it where it's only 25% of it is exempt. That might help out some of the people that's putting the bill for everybody else.
In my opinion, if it goes up to $90, you're gonna have more people wanting exemptions, you're gonna have more illegal dumping, and when they're 10 minutes late, you're gonna be getting a phone call, they didn't show up at 10 o'clock, and I'm paying them $90, I don't want to hear it.
I answer that.
None of that's good. I mean, none of that's good.
I know, but I'm just
What's
saying.
your idea, Ms.
You
Cobb?
can't back up, we can't back up, because if you start putting these dumpsters out for them to use, I seen them over in it was a disaster in Haralson County when they had it over there.
Carroll County's been doing it for 40 years.
What is your suggestion, Ms. Cobb?
Well, it's not ideal, but we may have to, you know.
But we're still gonna have to pay to take that garbage out of our county.
Yeah, we'll have to pay for that dumpster. What I'm asking is, what, if
How are you
you've
gonna,
heard
how
some
are
of
you gonna
this?
charge people then?
Well,
I mean, it's hard to say, I'm gonna charge you this garbage fee, but you gotta bring your garbage to the site and put it. Are they gonna do, you think they're gonna do that?
They're gonna charge
them.
they're doing Calhoun
They're not
County,
gonna-
not Calhoun.
Well, every one of these counties I go to, and I have to haul trash somewhere, I pull up there because I'm like, what? I mean, it was like $70, but then I went to the landfill, went to haul it to the landfill for $15. It was like, for these convenience centers that y'all talking about, where you pull up there and they take this,
Mhm.
it's $70.
Yeah.
And that was just a pickup load, it was a load. I'm like, oh my gosh, I said, well, and then the guy said, well, you know, you can take that thing over to the landfill, which is about 10 miles, here's the map. And where I went. But-
You may
but
still
is
have
it-
to charge a quarterly fee, even if you do that.
What do you think to that?
I still think that keeping the dumpsters at the garbage cans at people's houses is the only situation that we can, because they're gonna have to pay.
But I think
either way.
that's well, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I mean, if he puts these dumpsters at a certain location, somebody's gotta be there to be able to charge them to put it. Well, a lot of those people are not gonna bring it. They're gonna do just like you said. They're
But
gonna
what he's
dump
saying
it
is,
out.
we're not talking about, what we're talking about is, it's the only time that, like in your district, when you get your if you get yours built,
I get a bill if I ever get the land.
if you get yours built, then that month, that it's gonna be open from Thursday till
Wednesday through Saturday.
Wednesday through Saturday, so then people can come there and bring that trash, but if they don't have a certificate, they're gonna have to pay something.
But what I'm saying, those people that you're saying that are not gonna pay that for that garbage can to be at their house, do you think they're gonna drive their vehicle with that garbage all the way to and dispose of it?
I think they'll throw it out somewhere.
Yeah, so either way, you're gonna have that.
So the only thing we can do is we bid it, and if it's $100 every quarter, it's $100 every quarter. I mean, that's what, we're gonna put it out for bid, we're just trying to come up with other options if it don't
I'm
happen.
just saying that, they're not gonna haul it, they're not gonna haul their garbage to a facility.
Well, the
You'll have-
ones you're talking about is not
if
gonna
it's
pay for it
convenient
either.
for them, especially with my people in my area, that I don't even have one yet, to drive all the way to Hepburn, or all the way to Ranburne, to put the garbage. They're not gonna do it.
You may have to do both, give them an option. I don't know.
How many households do we have in the county, do you have that figure?
Not exactly, but I think it's right at 4,000.
So we'll see, right now, we got 800 houses that don't have trash now, service. When it goes to $100, that 3,200 is gonna go to 2,200.
The law says they're supposed to have garbage, somebody's
How
got
you
to
gonna
enforce
enforce
it.
it? How you gonna enforce
Got to
it?
be
Can't
enforced.
get blood out of current. Let me ask you this, so we're looking at it, so how much, so it's gonna be like about $30 or $40 a month? What's, Tom?
See, the only reason we got this last contract for 47 was because that company was going out of business. They wanted more containers, so when they was trying to sell their stuff, Instead of having 10,000 containers, they had 13,000 containers.
Because even that last bid, the numbers other than advance was 56, 58.
Yeah. The next lowest bid was $56, which is, that's $9 more. That was last time.
Well, what do y'all wanna do? Do you wanna just let them start dumping off at the county again?
That's what they're gonna do if it's $100 a quarter, so.
So you just,
What do you want to do?
say and stick to the garbage can.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna put it out for bid. But we can't make them pay the bill.
And I,
The thing is, there's, a law says that they have to have it.
Well, if you go down there to jail, the law says you don't sell drugs, the law says you don't do this, and there's a whole bunch of them
But
down
it's
there.
not fair that this, I've got older people out in my district that are not exempt, that are paying their garbage every month. And you've got younger people, or you've got other people that's not paying it. Well, there's not been enforced.
If you find them intent, what happens?
I was fixing to say, I don't say that it ain't being enforced. The problem is,
How many citations have we sent out?
the,
I know COVID is and then the
we
situation
handle most
is
of it,
coming.
we can handle most of it with letters. You send one warning letter out, typically you get, we've had very, very good response to it. We went from 2,800 to 3,200. So
Okay.
we've added, over the last couple of years, 400 households to it. The biggest thing we see is your renters. But they come and go in 2 or 3 months, and that's where we see a lot of it. By the time we actually get something sent out to them, they're done packed up, moved on to the next.
So what actually happens if they refuse, just absolutely refuse to serve?
You can do a citation.
Yeah, but how much?
About 380 by the time it all washes out with court fees and everything.
If people can afford
But
it.
now with county water, the owner of the property is liable. You know,
You're talking about the renter,
the renter's not liable, it's the
The
property
property
owner.
Now, how do they make that work like that?
yes.
Well, I can assure you,
That's the way it is in Atlanta, I'm just trying to figure out, because we had to pay a $13,000 water bill.
Well, exactly, I had to too. Because if that renter doesn't pay that water bill, guess who has to pay it? I have to pay
And
it.
in the law, it says something with garbage. The
And
garbage
so
is
with my-
responsibility of the landowner.
With my renter, the way we have it, or my sister-in-law has it set up, she charges them, and she pays the garbage.
Well, now, the city of Heflin just renewed theirs, right?
Mhm.
Ours didn't go up that much.
I think last year, that was
Yeah.
before all the inflation did and stuff.
The county would come down if the city would join the county. So you use the same trash service, wouldn't it, Lee?
The way it was described to me, the way they price it out, was because it's based on
They're
the
doing the city of Midlands now.
Republic.
the more cans you got, it's the same number of miles.
I was basically, and this was advanced disposal back when I was talking to them.
Breaks the road.
It costs $155,000 to pick up trash in Cleburne County. If that's one person, you're gonna pay $155,000. If that's 10,000, then you're gonna pay whatever. It costs this much to come to Cleburne County, how many cans you got, how many it gets divided by.
So if the new contract says $100, then in 3 years, we lose 500 or 600 people, then the next contract is gonna say $130, and then it's never ending.
Because every contract.
You really want to crack down. And the new contracts will have a fuel stipulation in them too.
They're gonna have, everybody I talk to wants a fuel surplus, fuel index tied to it, and a consumer price index tied to it. So every year, you're gonna look at both those things and get a new number.
Well, I've talked to 3 different mayors, trying to make that happen, to tie the city. And when Ann was there, I just tell you, it just wasn't gonna happen, because she wasn't gonna happen, because you know that. And plus the battle she had back here at the time with the other people that was here. But Robbie was on board, or looked at, he would be interested in doing it, and this is the way it would work. What you gotta do is, I would say, is I'll talk with the city of Heflin again, to say, but, you know, the people in the city of Heflin is not gonna say, okay, we're gonna pay $100 a year, because we're gonna save the county $5 per trash can.
The city, I mean, which I paid that bill for 20 years, the city makes money off theirs, because they got tied to water and sewer. And they're actually making a little money. So, they're not gonna give up that money, and like you said, and then tell everybody you gotta pay twice as much.
I think they're making about the same we are, is when I researched it the last time. They're making about the same because of the truck that they go around and pick up all the trash inside.
We ain't making nothing off of it.
Well, I mean, we're getting $1 for the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that there, I tell you, that's the best dollar that the county ever got right there, is doing these,
And it was a battle.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, they tried to run us plumb out of the county with that. But we survived. But,
Okay.
but I'll sit down and talk, because it ain't gonna be much longer till Robbie's, till the mayor's is up again anyway. But I think they just signed theirs last year, right?
That was last year.
But with all this that they're gonna demand, you can say you got a 3-year contract, but you don't. You got a 1-year
You got a
contract.
1-year contract, because every year it changes.
Yeah, and if you do them a 3-year contract and allow them to do that, then you know what they're gonna do.
I'm just gonna say, one other thing is it's, and it might be like, I think everybody knows it, it's sort of what the midterms is gonna happen in the midterms. Because if they want, if certain group still wants free money to hand out, I have a feeling that some of this stuff they're rolling back, and the one they're trying to roll back now, but it's just blowing my mind, but,
But see, you got
2 more years of it.
You got the idiots in the White House that, they came down with a Supreme Court ruling last week about the EPA overstepping. They announced this weekend that they're cutting the amount of oil they can take out of the Permian Basin. And the Supreme Court said they couldn't do it, and they just turned right around 3 days later and said, this is what we're gonna do. They're actually gonna try to tell how much oil can be pumped out of the ground. When you get that amount, you gotta shut it down. They're a bunch of idiots.
Well, the thing about what blows my mind is they're pumping 1 million barrels a day out of the reserve until when? Until the day before the midterm.
And
Then it stops. That's another $1 million barrels a day that's gonna come off the market right after you get through voting.
And if you look too, Trump filled it up when it was $10 a barrel.
Yeah.
It actually at one time went into the negative. Barrels of oil was actually, they would give you $1 to take the barrel, because they had to get rid of it. And this idiot's he's gonna refill it at $100 a barrel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got to fill it at $200. Well, I don't think he's planning on refilling it.
Nah, he probably done forgot about that.
Wait, which way again?
It's all anyway.
We've done the
I just had a
3 weeks ago, was when we finished up the second round. One other thing I got going is doing some of the bigger bridges, but we haven't started any of that yet, so.
Okay, I just got a text asking for the spraying again. Now, you did get the call about where this wonderful company went and dumped their chemicals on private land.
They didn't dump no chemicals, don't be
Well,
throwing
she
that out there.
has texted me. She
That-
said they called her.
Well, just, all I'm saying is get your story straight. I know you don't like it, I know you don't want it, but listen, what happened with that whole deal? The truck backed off the ditch.
Mhm.
It did spill some chemical. The company has come out, talked to the lady, they're coming out, they're removing soil, they're replacing it, they're sanitizing that whole area, they're fixing it like they're supposed to.
And she didn't tell
Don't
me
just,
that.
I know, that's what I'm saying, let's get our whole story straight before we just throw out this wonderful company come dump stuff out, because that is not the case.
They can post stuff on Facebook like that. It's
I know,
only- they
and
just
that's
tell
how,
one side of it.
and that's how it gets, there's a whole different side of that whole story.
It says, property and dumped a bunch of poison after we had no spray signs up.
They probably, they wouldn't just a few gallons come out of it, it was, none of it was dumped, what come out was what splashed when you backed off into the little ditch. And we ain't
She
talking,
says, he says his answer to me was if it didn't bring back up soon, he would redo it.
and that's
And
it.
it was washed right down the spring about 30 feet away.
Now, there ain't no There may be a spring down there, but there ain't no wash there because you can see clearly where it is.
Because we still have to figure out how the guy got off the road where he did.
Went to do
Did you
it.
go look at it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And that's what you can see exactly where it is. It's not in the stream, it's not in the water, it's on the, he went to do a 3-point turn, that's what he done. He went to turn around at the end of that road. And when he went to do his turn, the back end fell off and he splashed back off in that ditch and had to just get pulled back up on the road. And you can see where it went. It's dead. It is. But it ain't that he backed up and dumped chemicals and all that kind of stuff.
They just text me that wanted to know the response from it. And I just gave them your number.
Well, they've been in touch with the company and there's plans in place and it's all taken care of.
Okay, because I just got that message from her.
Well, she called me last week and it was all handled Monday of last week, so. It happened on Thursday or Friday of the week before.
So they come in and cleaned it up and.
They come out,
They cleaned it, so you're saying they cleaned it up?
they come out and done some tests to see exactly how much was in the soils and what was there. And if it comes back that it needs to be cleaned up, then they're gonna come in there and remove the topsoil and clean it up. They're waiting on the results to come back, is the last I heard from them. So. But when we're talking about a dead spot, we're talking spot maybe the size of these tables right here, where it splashed down the back of the truck.
Is that in the yard?
It's Kay Brown.
It's beside the driveway. It is private property. It is off the edge of the road. But,
Is that the one going up towards Cleburne Lake Road?
Are you through, Ron? You got anything else?
No, sir.
The commission's gonna have to do something about the sirens,
Like the what?
about the sirens. I've had conversation after conversation with Crystal, and she don't wanna hurt nobody's feelings. I don't mind hurting folks' feelings. We need to make a decision on and do whatever the decision is we make.
Well, this is the thing, other than just probably a few places that we need to. Okay. Other than, the things are obsolete, all the other counties have done taken them down.
It's Kay Brown is who it is. Kay,
I mean, I agree with
she
you,
was
but
Brown.
until we make a decision, she's not gonna do it.
Well,
And I'm not throwing off on Crystal, I'm just saying, she don't want to fight with the fire departments.
okay, well, I think,
I mean, if they're obsolete, then let's just take them all down.
yeah.
You know, and not give them a choice, because you know what, we done the choice deal, and it cost us a bunch of money.
Right,
Why did he back that far back?
he didn't back that far. That's what when he backed off the edge, look, it's all the battery now. When he backed off the edge, the back end fell off.
I'm trying to do some research on the sirens.
well, let me ask you this, why is it not on account, why is it not sealed up?
The top of it's not.
Why not?
It just, it's
It
just
wouldn't,
not.
you'd have to have a vent if
Yeah,
it
it's
was in.
vented, well, it's vented, but it's not sealed.
Okay.
And when he backed off the ditch, and that back end fell, he had a full tank, and that just, it splashed back there and splashed through the bin.
All right,
I don't know of any reason we can't
Cutting.
do away with the sirens.
It'll be September.
I don't have issue with that either, but is that what everybody wants to do? We want a resolution, or
We can't afford to maintain.
you can't maintain it? 'Cause
You can't maintain it, because you can't get parts now.
Yeah,
They're obsolete. And we've done the push now, I'm having, James Spann and everything with the radios that she gave me that we're gonna do over at, we got a little thing set up to hand out radios.
that's right. I went to the senior citizen, they gave out a bunch of them, and then give some to the fire departments.
And, but let's just do a resolution to do away with it.
All right, next question is, who's gonna pay to take them down? If we're gonna do that, I say a chainsaw and he can haul them off. What do you think? Or if there's somebody that Crystal knows that does work on, if they want them, they can come get them, we'll give them to them.
But now, we're not gonna do away with the one at the Coleman Lake.
10
Federal
years,
government, they take that one over.
10 years ago, 10
And I got
years
a call
ago,
in about that one.
there was a whole yard full of them things. When Calhoun County took all theirs down, I went down there and drug up about 10 or 15 at the time. And they was,
Cause they never was for work weather anyway, they
No.
was for the ammunition deal, is what they were actually put up for.
and there's a lot of counties that's got them in certain locations, you know, in big shopping centers and stuff like that. But you know, what happened, 30 years ago when you was up at, Coleman Lake and a storm come through? You usually had enough sense to know that you see rain coming, you might wanna get in your car and get out of the way.
Either lake or what kind of bath.
Now, you got so many campers up there, you didn't, back then, you didn't have that many people.
We just may need to make the federal government aware of that, and that's their problem. We already maintain their lakes, which I'm trying to get out of that every day. I done made 50,000 phone calls on that, so it's Lee.
So, I guess how many of them's operable?
There's only 4 she said was working.
So that's the one at Coleman Lake.
I don't know which one it is.
Oh, that's
The
a brand
Coleman Lake
new
one is working, yeah, so it's almost brand new. It's the newest one, which wasn't brand new, but it's the newest one.
It wasn't brand new when we put it up.
I don't know, I never did get a straight answer on that.
That's what we agreed to pay for, was a brand new one.
Isn't the one in Heflin still working?
Well, if they're on sleep, you can't get new. Can you?
Coleman Lake.
Well, they still have, the ones that we have is obsolete that was installed then. You can buy brand new off the shelf, sirens now.
It's a liability. And if you've got grown people that can't determine if they need to stay or go, I don't feel it's my fault, you know.
Well,
But when a tornado does come through here, and then we're gonna get sued, because they're gonna say, well, that siren didn't go off. And guess who's gonna lose?
this is what I would
We're
say.
gonna lose
If
everybody.
there's 4 working, I would say, let's take every one down that's not working, leave them shut them down with a chainsaw. There you go.
I say we cut them all out.
I'm not gonna cut the one down the first brand new, we just paid $25,000 for.
If the
So it's gonna be
storm,
liable for it.
if the storm did come through and one siren went off, and then these people over here say, we didn't have a siren, they had one over there, we didn't have
So
one.
you're saying take them all
Take
down?
them all.
It's a
There you go,
It's a
there it is.
liability. It's a liability, no matter how you look at it. It may never come up in our lifetimes, and then it may happen next week.
Take them all down.
But most all the counties that I've talked to, just take them all down.
So we have to get permission from, with some of the federal money?
No.
Put up
It was put up with CSAS money.
Okay,
But all we gotta do is, if we cut them down, we can just pile them up back there and call them and tell them if they want them to come get them, right?
All of them over yonder.
Put them up on your new shed down
Is this something we need to put on the 911 board, or is this something we need to do?
Huh?
911 board, or
I have
something
to
we
go
need?
to 911.
Okay, so that'll be a resolution for.
That's the MA, that's us.
For the MA, that's right.
Yeah,
No,
so
CMA,
that's it.
CMA, so it is you
So
guys.
it is.
So that would be us.
No.
All right, there's something else I had too. What was it, Lisa, something? We're working on the watersheds. I've been got some folks in Washington dealing with some of that, so, but I ain't ready for another day, because I ain't convinced they're gonna do what they said they're gonna do, so.
The what?
Watersheds.
Um,
I mean, we can't get nobody to say who owns them. The state won't say who owns them, the feds won't say who owns them.
But
So,
if we own them, we want to sell the watersheds.
I agree. But,
But I want to tell you, it's sort of like what happened down at, a lot of people know this, you know, down at Lake Girls, you know what that is.
yeah,
Well, the man that owned the stand that was up at the front, that owned the little park there, he owns all the land under the water.
yeah. That was Gerald Dow's, did he?
Yeah, that was his.
Mhm.
And because, see, they built that other state, when they built that, they built the other one over there. But anyway, the border of the water, so those people down there, they said that he went down and pulled the pipe over, broke the pipe off. And then the landowners come in together and hired divers to come down, and they pumped concrete in there somewhere or another and stopped all the water from going out. I don't know if it drained all the way down or not, but it's been a, but, you know, maybe the only bad thing about it is, the only thing we own is the water. In other words, we don't own no easement. If we own an easement back, you'd be surprised how many people we can bring up there that would just wanna be, primitive living and live up there.
Well,
Most of it's on.
Sort of like up in Fruitburg.
Lee's working on it, I'm working on it, Sonny, one of his attorneys, so we are working on it, but we really ain't got nothing to tell y'all right now. Cause it looks like it might be next month before we actually get a meeting with somebody to do something.
Tuesday, next week, I'll be at next week's meeting, but the following month, I won't be here.
Ryan's not gonna be at next week's meeting either, he's sick today and he's got some kind of conference next week.
Okay?
Everybody start remembering what I want.
We're gonna have the budget ready before we go to conference, right, Lisa?
We're gonna talk about that next week.
Yes,
Sorry.
I
She'll
said,
send out her schedule on handing out the books for the budget for
I've
us.
already sent out the budget books to everybody.
Is Lee, I mean,
we're gonna
has
have
Fred got mine
probably
here?
everything before we go to conference.
You got yours?
I'll have.
You talking about the book?
The budget books, the budget.
You get one to Fred or me?
I put it in your tray, and then Fred said he actually always got it, so I moved it to Fred's tray.
Okay, as long as we got it. He said he got it, but I
Fred's
don't know
got
how
it,
many we
yeah.
got now.
All the department heads have their notebooks, I gave you yours first.
Doesn't mean we've done anything.
Okay, now that I've set up the price out there, can you look on
They
there?
get them back in
Before we just look at the one on the right, see that?
Which
They should be able to do that.
I told them,
That's
you
the
ain't-
one
you're not gonna get
for
mine on
a couple
this one
weeks
now.
now.
But I know, I guess you're gonna have to push them.
It's making me feel bad about mine anymore. I got ripped off here.
I will have next
I don't
week, I
know
will
that we
have
need the diesel
18
because you think he can actually take care of the
Hopefully
diesel?
Friday, that's my.
Little
my
more
goal.
maintenance than I guess.
Now, that's enough timeline for us to try to get the
The
money
gas
out,
be fine.
which is one reason I told him was not a lot of money.
For him.
She's finishing
I
up
think-
Yeah.
My opinion on diesel engine these
kind of
days,
stuff
it ain't
for
worth,
me,
it ain't worth,
so,
it ain't worth the
hopefully by
difference.
Friday I'll have those reports from
Oh,
you.
yeah. Mine's an industrial.
Is yours a diesel?
Because that's gonna give us
No,
the third quarter.
it's an industrial model, though, you know, it's got a,
That
but it's
should-
got a little computer screen
Go a
over
long
here, it
way
tells you
from
when to change the oil, it tells everything.
God, that's what I need. That's the one we need, the one that tells him to change oil and things. Me and him done been around the moon on that.
It'll pop up like mine's 10 hours to the oil change, you know.
Well, look, I'll tell you this, this is what I told him this morning. So you got the state bid list here, but we're also doing source road. So if there's something that's not on the state bid list, chances are we can get on source road, which is a national bid list. And you dial in a little more what you want.
Well, he must need a whole lot of back. They said we're going to go all the way to Montgomery to get it. And I said, well, I'll go get it if I gotta go get it. But I said, if we need to get it. But let's just get one that's more in a price range, 16 cut. Blah, 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 blah.
Have they gave you an update on either one of the side mowers as far as?
The new one is still sitting for an August delivery. The last I got on it was still on track.
So the ones we got now is completely gone.
I don't have them. I got one new one on the way, and then I got one old one that I purchased from the state, that's been broke down since December. It's been sitting at Bannister's, split in two for 6 months.
So they still don't have that part?
They will, the last I heard was the part was finally on the delivery and was supposed to be there.
This my see-go turn more, it's nothing, it's all just turn the key, it's got a fuel hand on it, and then I was just gonna buy another one, and they told me then it was anywhere from 4 to 6 months to buy a ride, well, it's a
Well, he's
industrial.
had that in Bannister since last year.
Since December, it's been over there since 7 months. Waiting
We
on
need that
the
side on it, though.
Leah, too, on, the project projects this year, you're gonna have a copy of those ready where we're all here together at the same time before we vote on road projects.
Right, the county transportation plan will be next month.
Okay. That is for it, okay.
Okay.
But what your plans are for what?
The gas station.
And I may be overstepping my bounds here, because this is not in my district, but we got a bridge that's gonna be closed in about 10 months. Are we gonna talk about it, or we're not gonna do
I've got
anything?
3 bridges in my district, that's
Which
gonna
bridge
be
is that?
there on a major collector.
Go to school.
Y'all know it?
What?
There's 3 bridges in my district on a major collector that are in bad need.
Are they gonna be shut down?
One
You already
of
told us
them's
the problem in
One of
next
them's
year.
already, I mean, when you go across it, it's been like this for
She-
2 years now.
She's got 3 on 65, but we've already dropped one to 5 ton. And
It's
they're
amazing.
smaller culverts, they really don't take that much to, I hate throwing out numbers right now because everything's so jacked up, but a year ago they've been $300,000-400,000 a piece. My estimates ain't been getting too good here lately,
Is that something we need to discuss? That's all I'm throwing out there.
That, like I said, that's a major collector. That's where all your major, is going traffic on 65.
But you got those 3, you do have the 84 bridge that will make it, February's inspections, when it's gonna come back around and that'll be.
Next week, we're
Next
gonna be
February,
closed.
when it gets closed. But really, those are the, I guess the ones that are on the radar. The one that's dropped 5 ton and then the one on 84 is 2.
Well, the one on 84, that's the one that me and you were working with.
Yeah, it's,
Well, the one on that one right there, we got private investors who's looking at putting 200,000 in, so I'm gonna get with them. And you said we did the one on White's, that we might could still tie those 2 roads together.
they're not cheaper.
Okay. But I need to keep that other 100,000 in play though, huh? Cause I don't know what he's about to say to them, that's the way y'all feel, he's about to say, I'm not getting that road to tie them together. You see what I'm saying? I just don't wanna get them mad at one another, dealing that slow. So I'm gonna get with him tomorrow.
Without him tying together, you can.
Nothing, it's gotta be tied together.
I just don't think we need both those bridges that close together.
Oh, no, I agree with him. But the whole idea is that mechanism to tie this one into this one. As you know, if he lets us do that that road, we can kick this other bridge on down the road for another year.
Right.
So, we gotta make that happen.
You're not gonna kick that one down the road, because the state says they're gonna close it in February.
84, you ain't gonna keep a White's page, you got several more years of it. So if you had to close 84, and you could tie 84 over to Ross Mountain and put them on White's Bridge.
Well, what I'm saying is, and like I said, I'm not trying to tell y'all what to do, it's y'all's district, not mine, but we need to be discussing, don't we? I mean,
We are.
Well, we're discussing, what I'm trying to do is I met with Randy. Randy just got out of surgery, so I met with Randy Price. And Randy got into it, not get into it, but had a disagreement with what's his name down there?
Cleburne.
It might have been him, I think it's somebody else.
Jarvis.
Jarvis. And he said that him and Jarvis, because now, because Jarvis was telling him, oh yeah, we could probably get that if we're gonna come up with this, this, and this. But then, he said he goes down there and he tells you that it's gotta be within a mile of a major highway, state highway.
I mean, I've been dealing with Randy Price for 3 years, he's been promising me money for a road, and I ain't got a penny yet, so.
Okay.
Well, Jarvis, that's just the thing, it's, most of their roads just gotta connect to a major road. It's got, or, intersection, one or the other.
The one I'm trying to get done does, and I still ain't got the money, so.
So they got so anyway, I'm gonna get with him, we just, because what Randy was saying was don't start a big project until after the midterm, that you were sitting there and we heard the same conversation. But I'll get with, Floyd and, Mr. Davis and Floyd Davis and then see where he's at, and just go from there. At the end of the day, they closed the bridge. I mean, it's a long ways to go back through that dirt road, but, let me see what, because the whole mechanism anyway is what, how much work Floyd's gonna do to that road to tie them together.
Is that a public road or a private road?
It's private at the moment.
You were sitting there and you heard what he said, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, no,
Because when I was bringing it up, Matt looked at me and says, well, you ain't gonna turn that into a private road, and you heard what he said. He said, it's mine, I'll turn it into whatever I want to do.
turn it into a public road.
Yeah. So, the only thing, when I brought it up was, when we was looking at the map, was move the end of the road up to above that white house, so it wouldn't be so deep into the floodplain. If you come next to that old bridge, you driving down into the bottom. So if you go on the other side of that white house, you're still right on along that bridge. Now Floyd said he would, cut that, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
And he said there's two pretty steep hills on it. He said he'd take care of them hills too.
Well, let me ask you this, would we, if he's gonna turn us that road over, would we be better to let him give us some hard work on that road and donate us that road, or try to get the 100,000 too?
Well, he's gonna do both. He
He
said.
said right now, he said he was gonna do both.
Okay. And you know, with him, it don't make him no difference, so that 100,000 is good, but when I was talking with, Lee and, Matt, he was like, we want this bridge.
And just, us talking, if Matt don't, if they don't get the 84 bridge, I don't think he's gonna get that 100,000.
Yeah.
But we're just gonna sit down and talk with them about it and see.
Well, still, it'd be more advantageous to the county to maintain the white bridge.
Let me ask you this, is, so you sure they gonna close, they don't give us no more than February?
I bet you did,
Well, we need to put a which bridge we're gonna, what do we need to have engineering on what bridge?
which bridge?
And you gotta.
Can we do a question mark on
What
that?
are we talking about?
The engineering on one probably 25,000
Yeah,
to actually do foundation reports and everything for it.
it's like they did on 71, it's just a one-lane bridge they're gonna put back.
They do, remember now, we can't spend money on private property.
No, this ain't, this is.
I mean, I know the bridge is not, but the road y'all talking about.
Oh, yeah, we
I already
know
know, I don't know where road's at.
Well, what he said was he was gonna knock it out and he was gonna deed it to the county.
Oh, okay.
That's a mile and a quarter, right?
And I'm on board with it
So all he has to do is inspect it and accept it.
and just accept it. I mean, there's especially the reverse process of the vacating one, there's a public hearing and that kind of stuff, but yeah, it's just gotta be
And,
that.
and the thing about it is, he owns all of it, both sides of the road and each end of the
So
road.
you're talking about doing the road and the bridge?
No, we're not doing
I mean, I
it.
know you're not doing the road, but you're talking about just doing the bridge.
We're just trying to determine which bridge, the one that goes over Ross Mountain or the one that goes at the end of 84.
At some point, you're gonna have a public meeting.
Okay, well, okay, so, well, I've been working on it, so, I mean, I was thinking I was
How
on my
much
own,
is
but
the bridge, but the one lane bridge gonna cost the county?
Well, if you do the one at 84, which is the one they're gonna close, just because of its configuration, probably $1.5 million, 100 million, $750,000, somewhere around there. The other one costs you right at $1 million probably.
so, I've got
How
200,000.
many houses do you have over there?
You got, yeah, well, you got Cleburne Lakes, you got 3 houses in Cleburne Lakes behind 84. And then behind the White Bridge, there's 6 or 7,
That's pushing it, yeah, there's not many.
not many, but.
You know, that's, I guess I'm looking at my point of where I'm still trying to do the one that's been on, that's been closed for years at Borden Springs that has more houses. And we haven't done anything to it.
Well, one of the things here driving this is they want to develop that property up there.
But
for-
they have been developing, trying to develop that up Borden Springs too, but they can't because they can't get concrete trucks over the bridge that's there. So that stopped the development over there. So you're dealing with the same issues, but you got more homes up there. And that bridge has been on since before I came in office.
Okay, do we need to,
But I'm just saying, the people needs to understand that,
Got big
that you're
That's
picking and
fine.
choosing.
so, do we wanna do it next week, or we wanna do it at next month's work session and pick a bridge we're gonna spend money on and figure out where the money's coming from? I mean, cause at some
Well,
point, that's what you gotta do.
so
And if he's putting the projects together for next year, I mean, that's the only money we got.
Well, look, so let's just run through the options right quick.
Alright.
So you got 84 and you got White's Bridge. I get Perryman and Evans. Evans is 84, is that right? You said a while ago. Evans is 84 and Perryman's is White's. Evans is gonna close next year. If it closes, as it stands right now, Cleburne Lakes and those 4 or 5 houses will have to go the 5 miles through to come out of where the trucks go.
Have to go through 18.
Yep, gotta go 18, come out over there. White's Bridge is not to the point of closing. It's still functional, still operational. So your other option would be, if you close Evans, you get your road tying the two together. If you can get the road tying the two together, you keep that can down the road, because
That's just what I'm
right
saying.
now, you don't have to do nothing with White's Bridge. It'll come, but right now you don't.
But the funding that we were looking at, or that I was looking at, was the dividing of the money, which I was gonna take the 400 and something thousand and give it to paving projects or whatever y'all decide to use with it. Then that way, because there's no way, again, same thing that you're dealing with, is that we're gonna come up, if we don't do it this way, where it's a 1-lane bridge, like we did on 71, it's a $3 million bridge. If we use that federal money,
Probably
And-
3.
yeah, it might be 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're building a bridge that you can go across for $1 million. That's only a 1 lane that is the weight limit is unlimited. You can go across it with concrete trucks. So if you can look at your bridge,
Switch it to a 1-lane bridge.
well, I don't know what you can, I mean, that's something, that's what I'm researching.
The bridge is not the issue up there. The issue is the pillars. The pillars are gonna cost more than the bridge.
We can't set
Yeah,
hers back on the foundations.
he's gotta knock all that down and start all over.
That enough hers to stack.
See, my bridge, that's the reason why I want to spend the 25 to see if the head walls are gonna be what we can do, but we don't want to spend any money now until I go over and say, well, we're not in the game. So you got one that wants to do the bridge that goes over there at Cleburne Lake. Then you got the others, the one, Floyd don't care which bridge is done. He said, well, either way, the road's gonna have to be connected. So, and he's gonna build the road and give us the road. But he's gonna have an understanding, I believe, that he wants to, he's gonna leave that road to the county for those folks. I don't know how it's gonna go when all of a sudden they say, well, we're not gonna contribute to that bridge because it's not on my driveway. Ugh.
All right,
But there's a lot of stuff going on over there, so we'll just have to see.
okay, you can't spend the
You can't spend,
COVID money on the bridge. I would be willing to swap my gas tax money for COVID money, if that'll help y'all out.
right, that's what we're looking at.
Okay. But,
I just-
Because you can use this money for paving projects, and
yeah,
we already got the bids on that.
I just need to make sure that I get those bridges on 65 done at a major collector.
Well, not with,
Not major traffic.
but that could
They
be,
are neat to.
that could be one of the projects for next year again, for the gas tax money. One of them, not all three of them.
Well, they're all 3 in need of replacing.
Yeah, well, I got,
Those major
I got
collectors.
100 miles
Well,
of
we got,
road replaced, and I can't do it all
Terry,
the
come
time.
on now, for the last 2 years, my district hasn't got anything.
Well,
They need-
that's the first I've
they
heard of
need-
the 3 bridges,
they-
you know.
Well, they're in my district, that's probably why you hadn't heard of them.
But you need to bring it to the commission so we'll know.
No, my engineer told me about it, our engineer told me about the bridge problem, which I knew about one of them.
But your engineer ain't got no money. The commission's got the money.
This has just come up, Terry, that's the reason I'm bringing it up now.
Okay.
But let's go back to the funding of money we're talking about. What we're talking about is the money that we just split. You got your share of that money, I got my share, and he got his share.
I got mine.
Okay, so, what we're looking at doing is giving our money up for paving projects, or whatever you use it for, whatever. You gotta do what you do. The only thing of it is, with this money, is what we found out is that anything you do with it, you gotta do it towards federal guidelines. So if you can build that covered, with your 400,
No, my 400 went to 35.
well, then you done spent your money.
Well, wait, I'm talking about our gas money that's coming up.
Okay.
I'm not talking about that money. I'm
Okay.
talking about our budget coming up for next year
Right,
and all. Doesn't have anything to do with the COVID money.
okay.
And that's what I'm talking about for these bridges. That's got these bridges covered, it's really what they are. They're not, you've only got one bridge.
Yeah, they would all be culverts.
Yeah.
Just catch
And
them.
that they need to be replaced because it's a major collector through there. I'm
So
not
you don't
talking
need any
about
paving
the COVID.
projects then?
I'm not talking about the COVID money. I'm talking about our budget money for the year.
But in the same process what you're talking about, I'm talking about the COVID money.
Yeah,
Or the,
what you do with your COVID money is your decision.
right.
Just like I used mine towards a paving project, 35, that, what's been out there since you and me's been in office.
Which we'll have to put out the bid next month, so.
But I'm just talking about our money, our budget funded money, nothing to do with COVID, that I'm willing to bring it to the attention that these 3 bridges need to be replaced.
Well, that money, I've got enough, I can pay a half a mile, just wherever I want to. Isn't that about it?
It ain't far from it. You get a couple miles with that, because it's running 240,000 miles right now.
It's so depressing, it's so depressing.
We're actually doing less with more money. We
Well,
were doing more miles of road with 530,000 than we're doing with 1.1 million now. Just done went up so much. All right. I thought I was helping, but I guess I was making everybody mad. Anything else? Anybody got anything else? All right.
Do you want your list of what's gonna be on the agenda?
Yeah, why don't you tell
I'm
us?
gonna run through that, see if you catch anything I missed. Okay, we need to do an acceptance of Metro Bank, do a resolution for that. We're supposed to do that once a year. It's not as strict as it used to be about what time of year, but we are supposed to do that. We're
And
gonna.
that's your recommendation, huh?
Yes, my recommendation, that we go back with Metro Bank and get that 1% CD on that. So the second one would be about the CD renewal. We'll need a specific resolution for that. I don't know if we can do it or not, but we can try to throw that deal with the rainy day, and I know we're gonna bump up our CD amount to $1 million.
I thought,
And the rest of it, the rainy day goes down to 10 little square.
I talked to Ryan, and Ryan said that CD was rainy day money.
Okay,
So,
good, good. We thought it was, but
yeah.
we just couldn't find anything that said that. So we'll have resolutions for the bank acceptance, the CD renewal. I don't know if we need to make it a third one where we're gonna make that rainy day fund amount that's being transferred in there from sales tax down to 10%. When it gets up to $2 million, you think that needs to be a separate
That is
resolution?
just separate
Okay,
resolution.
so that's
Or
the
would you not
resolution.
just wait until it got to that point to make that resolution then?
No, I mean, you can do it, you can wait, or you can just do it now, it don't matter.
I mean, it's just, we'll just have to keep up with
If you-
it, like anything else.
Yeah.
Triggered it.
If you do a resolution now, then going forward, when it gets to 2 million, it changes. When it gets under 2 million, it changes back. I mean, I just think we go ahead and get it done, because we don't want to forget about it. Then we'll be next year doing the same thing.
My next one is, the request from the health department, I'll do a resolution for that. If you don't wanna accept that, or should you just let it die?
Call them and ask them if they wanna come talk to us, at least give them the opportunity, if they don't wanna show up, then we'll vote.
Okay, the next one is gonna be about accepting a renewal of our contracts with Avenue for renewal with Alabama Department of Revenue. And another one for courthouse ventilation, I'll get the resolution from the IAC on that one. Another new item is the ABC, the new fees for those.
That's library and
licenses.
courthouse.
Okay, library and courthouse.
Is this all on the consent agenda, or is this?
This is all new business, it's all decisions, is it not?
Yeah.
The fill in the blank, like the BD business, but.
Do you think the bank acceptance?
So that one with me wouldn't have to be for the code, I mean, for the,
Demolition.
Oh, you did it anyway, you want to,
I'll do all three of those statements on consent agenda if you're all okay with that.
yeah, we're good with that.
Okay. I mean,
Except for the one on the tax, if we're gonna think about changing, I'm not really. I thought you said you just leave that alone, or you still wanna go from the state to,
oh. Just, that'll have to be new business, and it'll be a fill in the blank.
Okay.
Whoever who controls the resolution can fill in the blank.
And the library courthouse will have to be a new one, that'll have to be, would it not, the IFC one,
Yeah.
okay?
wait a minute. If the person who controls the resolution puts it on there and it don't pass, then, where's the fill in the blank after that?
I didn't do it. What do you want it to say?
I just think if you just do two resolutions, I guess,
Then you
one
have-
with and one without.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds good to me, you have to put that on new business, which is already on new business.
all right. So we got the bank ones on the consent agenda, we got the health department request, I'll ask them if they want to talk, but I'll put that as a new item in case they want to talk. The, library courthouse ventilation, that'll be on new business. Two Avenue ones, Avenue and Alabama Department of Revenue, same resolution, just two different companies. Okay, ABC new license fees. We're going to put that on the new agenda with what I find out on the amounts that Calhoun's count. Y'all want to try to find out.
Business, and we can,
Just put it on new business, because
Okay.
we'll have to talk about what you come up with.
Okay. Is there anything that I need to write up for the sheriff's vehicle maintenance bid? Is that something we can pass a resolution for? I know.
put it on any business where you can bring it forward to the.
Okay, on those sirens, we need to give a 3-month period, we're gonna take them down.
Some probably need to run by Jason, but
I did a 3-month period.
I talked
Did
to
it take you
Jason.
long, take you so long?
Can we really solve that? Can we really just do that?
Well, it'd be sort of hard to stall it down over by the EMS because it's liable to fall on the building.
Some of them are close to the fire.
Go over some lines,
One
so
city.
we're gonna have to have some.
The one at Brewers is like, you know, it's right there in the midst of power lines, the Highway 78.
There's a bunch of them you can stall down, but there's a bunch
That's
of
what
them.
well, that's kind of what I'm getting at, I just didn't, I don't know, I wouldn't think we could just probably lay them all.
Well-
It's right there where it can fall and hit anything. That one is, no.
Can you rent a fellow bunch and grab them,
We're gonna lay them
and then saw them, and then lay them wherever you want? I'm sure you find the,
top ones,
yeah.
water.
I just been careful because of the power lines, is what, you know.
And that's kind of what I was getting at, there's probably gonna be more, something's gonna have to have a hold to them, so it's good.
Is that,
How much money do you want to solve now? Maybe we'll put in a resolution.
I hope it's not what we paid
Would you have-
before I came in.
It was like $1 under 50,000.
$49,999. I remember that. I went in the office.
Now, those guys cut down with a chainsaw.
I had some words with Ryan over that crap. I went in the office and I didn't know that. Well, do you want to, I mean, we've been putting the scrap pile rolling this can down the road forever. Do you want to just put out a release saying that we're thinking about taking them down? And
No, we're thinking about, they're obsolete. Don't start into this, we're thinking for a reason. What you gotta say is, we can't get parts for them no more. They've come to the end of their life, and in 90 days, they're coming down.
Write a
The
resolution,
end.
write a resolution that says we're gonna,
And then at that moment, you give us a price by then, the next month, on taking them down. Right now, we're decommissioning them, and then in 3 months, you're taking them down at $2.25, whatever.
You get all that?
I don't think so.
You see what I'm saying, decommission, because they're obsolete, you can't get.
Or do you want to leave the Coleman Lake one out until we get something on that, or you just want to take it
I
out?
would rather leave it out.
Leave it out.
We spent a lot on it, and we
But
just
you're gonna be
don't.
spending a lot of them down the road on it too.
Why not?
Take it out.
It's just,
Take it down.
It bother me, well,
Okay.
Who would you,
you'd have to go down to the station and talk to them about it.
down here for the mountain?
No, not further, not right up there where you go out to the Skyline Drive, or,
Yeah, for the mountain.
yeah.
Well, halfway down the mountain.
Halfway.
Okay, so is that on new business?
Do you want? No,
Consent, okay.
well, we know these things. You wanna go down there and talk to them?
Yeah,
Or I'll go with you, Roger, whatever y'all
I'm
wanna
gonna
do.
talk to them, I don't care.
See what they say. Okay.
Okay, the next thing I had was vacate county road 448.
portion.
So let's just make sure, these things are obsolete and we're decommissioning them, we're not wishy-washy with this, because we all get on different page.
Well, as long as they're standing up, we're liable.
Yeah, okay.
It don't matter who
We
we
stand
say.
up up there,
We don't say who owns it.
99 care gets them with that track over.
Resolution, those are a liability to the county, and so that we,
Decommission.
All right,
Option not to vote.
the vacating portion of county road 448, is that consent agenda or is that new? Does it have to be on new?
Which one?
The vacating of
It
portion?
has,
That just starts the process.
Yeah, that's
He
all.
can tell you how to write that.
Well, you're gonna mimic that 290 from last month's I was doing.
Okay.
I'll get you the good links and stuff, but it'll be that same resolution.
Just start the process.
Yeah, but you still got that other land on there. You know, I went down and talked to him, but I never got a response.
Next thing's, employee evaluations, June, December of each year. We'll do ours this year in July. because-
Just thought of something. We need to come up with something that's gonna make these people, that we're over the holiday. We're going to come up with some kind of something that's gonna move these people to, all this stuff that's piled up everywhere, like downstairs. I mean, there's tons.
Disposition of assets, I'm working on a form for that, and I'm thinking that if we can get it sent out, like, here in the next few days or so,
Yeah,
I'm sure we can get a form sent out.
I just wanna make sure that we just didn't do a resolution, it's like the rest of them, it's just, it's over with.
Be that,
Now, Joyce's looks great, Ryan's, we got his all squared away, there's only one other one, I think that's the big one that we've gotta get, I've got a $20,000 tent down there that we went and picked up, I don't know what we're gonna do with that.
Oh, boy.
This big old tent that you drive through to get vaccinations. It's a big old circus tent, it takes 10 of us to move it.
Is it money where we can't get rid of it?
I think
Why don't
there's a
you,
trash
why
drop-off
don't
center.
we, why don't we ask our county administrator to have a discussion with that department head and see where they're headed, how about that?
Yeah, what we're gonna do with it. I'm just saying, we got all this stuff sitting around, you got enough stuff in there to disinfect the country in that office there.
I agree.
Uh,
At some point, you gotta make a decision.
And you got plenty of storage downstairs, why not move out all these hundreds of computers down there that we've done went through, 3 sets of computers that's down there.
Have they been,
Well,
the hard drive? been-
what is our process? We just keep stacking it up?
No, you can get rid of them, you can't get rid of your hard drive. until
Well,
you
I
get it
did mention to Lisa about the people that did it in Calhoun County, to contact them, to come here to where they just come to the site. And probably right here is gonna be the site, because it'd be easier for me to haul the stuff from the storage building up here than to worry about this getting hauled down there. So we could do it right here at the Mountain Center.
Well, they do shred them.
No, they come in and they take all these computers and all these printers and stuff, it's what is it called, it's
like electronics drive.
and they come in and they process and get rid of it all.
Clean the hard drive.
That's what the phone call was supposed to be about, we had talked to Melissa,
And
knows
see
all
the
about that.
hard, the information, but
But that 80% of it is nothing to do with hard drive, I tell you. There's printers that you would not believe.
The
It's-
printers, you just get rid of them.
Yeah, anyway, nothing on anyway.
Only thing that you,
You always remember in county government, you wanna find the first word to keep you from having additional. Okay, so there it is. What's the first word? I go, you gonna print them hard drive? Well, what, all this other stuff is stapled to the ceiling.
We've reached the end of the road, it's time to do something.
Okay.
All right, then employee evaluation was the next thing I was bringing up, June, December, but we're gonna do it July this year. So is that a consent agenda or is that new business?
I thought we've done that, didn't we?
y'all, we're gonna pass it.
We
Y'all
agreed
said-
to evaluate, but not twice a year.
That's right. So it's gonna be.
Now, that's
debatable. We done got a resolution to do what me and Roger's gonna do.
Okay.
So if we're gonna change what Lee does, that's the only reason we need a resolution, ain't it?
Well, if you hear what Lee said about evaluating somebody.
If he's already doing evaluation, there's no point in changing what he's doing, there's no point in using this new form. If he's got his, system working, let's just let it work. And we'll use the new form here,
For our end.
and anybody else that wants to use it.
Okay.
So
There's
we
no need
don't
for a
have a
resolution.
resolution at all for that?
No.
Okay.
We've already passed that resolution.
The transportation budget, we need a resolution for that, accept that.
Well, I think we have to set the, we only set.
Yeah, we need to know how much it's costing us and how many riders and all that much it does, so that's new business definitely.
Okay. And an ABC license, that's obviously a consent agenda item, but that's what I have.
What data are y'all looking for? You want actual, who, like riders, how many riders, not trips?
Mhm.
Districts?
Yeah, that's how we got it before, he broke it down, he broke it down to how many riders,
What's
the
the average,
district,
average mile per
and the
trip?
average.
And then I'll get the cost, what it's been costing us for this year.
And that comes out of the biker tax fund. So some of it, from my understanding is, when it all takes place, don't we get reimbursed, or we only get reimbursed for the truck? How do you remember, we used to get reimbursed after you do that, does any money come back?
I don't think we get reimbursed for that, this contract. now.
Okay.
I don't know without.
So that's all we're paying is the 34?
Yeah. Well, no, you paying Marty's salary too.
Well,
Are they
you're
reimbursing
saying
us for that?
50% of,
That is
50%
percentages.
and 20% on the administration. He's got it broke down. You get reimbursed 20% on the administration costs, and you get reimbursed 50% on his salary.
But if you
50% on the 70,000 and 20% on the 11,000.
I need to get that, because I didn't get all that. But, still, we need it broke down to,
I think she's got that big copy of Travis all
Yeah,
that.
she's got it.
What about scanning that and sending it to everybody?
make that copy, because all I got was that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah, just give us a copy of all of that, because I was trying, I
Scan
got it
it.
wrote down, but I haven't divided it to see exactly what that cost.
Well,
But we just need to take total expense
Take my grandson to the top of the.
and divide it by how many passengers and how many miles.
Your total expense is $81,435.
Okay, so then you take that and divide it by how many passengers. And then
15, just use the number 15 right now. So 15 times divided into that, what is that? 15 divided into 80,
But
huh?
But then you're getting reimbursed. You're getting reimbursed 50% off of his salary, of the 70,000. And 20%, so you need to do that and then calculate.
Just get us a total cost for the commission,
See what I'm saying?
with all the reimbursements figured in. Get us a total amount of riders and a total amount of mileage. With those three things, we can figure whatever we want. What else? Everybody good?
I'm good.
All right. See everybody next week.